Good morning. It is 6:03 from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Will Bowling. Alabama started off the Sweet 16 with a record-setting offensive performance yesterday, beating BYU 113-88. The Crimson Tide broke the 35-year-old March Madness record for three-pointers with 25, and Mark Sears scored 30 of his 34 points on threes. Florida joins them in the Elite Eight with an 87-71 win over Maryland. The Gators' backcourt of Will Richard, Elijah Martin, and Walter Clayton combined for 42 points. Duke beat Arizona late last night 193, setting up an East Regional final with the Crimson Tide. And 10-seed Arkansas couldn't hold on to a 16-point second-half lead, falling 85-83 to Texas Tech. In overtime, the Gators and Red Raiders will play in the West Regional Final. And tonight, 2-seed Tennessee takes on 3-seed Kentucky in the Midwest Regional Semifinal in Indianapolis. The Vols in their third straight Sweet 16 for the first time in program history. Kentucky, meanwhile, is there for the first time since 2019. Tip-off is scheduled for 6:39, which you can hear right here on The Zone, courtesy of the Vol Network. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans at Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. RKW brewed by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone, live from Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply in lovely Mount Juliet, Tennessee. Out amongst the people this morning, and if you are watching us on 104.5 The Zone TV today, we are set up differently than we have ever been set up because we are in comfortable chairs. We are starting our morning off in lawnmowers, not in regular chairs, to host this radio program, which goes for the next 4 hours and has some pretty big guests coming up. Brent Hubbs of VolQuest at 7:20. Darrell Colbert, Cam Ward, and Shedeur Sanders, quarterback coach, at 8:20. And then, of course, Ron Slay at 9:20. How do you guys think NFL fans and Titans fans are going to feel watching the video of us interviewing Cam Ward's quarterback's coach sitting in lawnmowers? Good morning.
Good morning. You got to take it seriously, right?
More than anything, I think it's just use the audio, not the visuals.
There
what I would tell them. Absolutely.
Yep. Very interesting.
A very serious group that's got a very serious job right now on not ruining something, as I tell myself that out loud.
Well, what I love about this is we're not only at Dickens in these comfortable lawn chairs, but Scooters is literally 2 seconds down the road. So I got here early, stopped by Scooters, scooted around, got some blueberry muffins and a coffee.
Hey, okay.
Yeah. So
right.
very convenient
Very nice.
For a lot of people who work with us here at 104.5 The Zone.
I didn't even realize it. I was just blown away by the lawnmowers. I was just thinking for a second. I thought this last night. I was like, maybe I'll sit in a lawnmower. You know what I'm saying? No, absolutely. We're doing the show in one.
That's
Yeah,
right.
we're doing the entire, I always try to solicit, weird ways to do the show.
Yep.
Always bring up something. And today, I didn't even have to suggest this. This is awesome, man.
I know, it's so comfortable.
It is Ferris Days at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. Ferris Commercial Mowers set the bar as the first and only manufacturer to integrate suspension into their mowers with racing-inspired patented full suspension and integrated cutting decks. You can go faster, cut better, and not get beat up. We are here in Mount Juliet. 104.5 The Zone will be broadcasting from Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply locations all around Middle Tennessee. And I heard Ramon audibly go, "Oh," as soon as I said that these are racing inspired. So
You know what my first thought is?
Ramon and Georgia football players, their interests have been piqued.
Yes, they have been. Because I'm looking at Curb and CJ, who's out here right now. I'm thinking to myself, can we open up those double doors back there and clear this thing out?
Ramon wants to go for if Ramon could take this mower to Scooters Coffee right down the road, it would be the perfect combination of our sponsors this
We've
morning.
done that.
Oh, really?
Frank Wycheck, zero-turn mowers at a parking lot in Franklin.
Oh, that's terrific.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Listen.
terrific.
Hey, Mom, that's a dare.
I'm telling you, hey, listen, crank one up is all I tell you.
Said,
Okay?
you ever play the What Are the Odds game?
Oh, yeah.
Going up? All right, what are the odds?
I'm going to say about 70%.
No. Hey, you did not know what I was
did not
talking
play
about.
that
So you
game.
say, what are the odds? The other person says 1 in 10 or whatever. And then I say 1, 2, 3. We both say a number. And if the number is the same, then you have to do what the dare is. So the higher you set the odds, this was high school for me. The higher you set the odds, so give me 1 and 20.
1 and 30.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 13. You got to say a number.
15.
Unbelievable.
I was going to say 15. I never played this game.
Shunned.
Thank you. I never played this game.
No, we're not doing it because now you know which number I was thinking before.
My game was Mother May I. Okay, that's all. That's all I need to ask somebody
Mother
right now.
May I.
Yes, you may.
Red Rover, Mother
Kirby
May I.
gets me right here. See, Kirby and me play similar games. Okay, that's what I'm telling you. I never played the odds game. I prematurely answered you yes because I was excited. Well, that's on me.
He did say 70%.
Thank you for your friendship.
I did say 70%.
Pretty good.
Kayla, I said 70%.
I like those
man.
odds.
Absolutely. Listen, you mentioned NASCAR. Like, have you ever seen these things on the roadway, though? They're actually very fast.
Oh, yeah, no, I believe it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Kayla, these things
I've seen them on the lawns, but never on the roads.
Ooh, they get down. Like, when you got a lot of acres, which I don't have a lot of acres at all. I got an acre is what I would tell you. I have an acre. But, like, you don't realize how big, like, 5 acres is when you got to cut it. Like, you got a little mini-me lawnmower, it's going to be hours. You get one of these bad boys with a little speed and a horsepower behind the blades, and if the blades are sharpened, oh, my. But, see, the reason I hadn't been on one of these in a very long time is because I was very prideful in my yard work. I always wanted to cut it. My brother-in-law helped me do the seeding, the fertilizer, and everything. But then I bought a house with a hill.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And when I bought that hill, your boy went backwards on a lawnmower, okay?
You saw your light flashing before your eyes.
Yes, I did. Yeah. Kirby's mouth has dropped now. Since that day, I've yet to get back on the lawnmower in my yard. Went backwards. It stayed in the air, too, by the way.
So you didn't go
I was going
of it.
up. Yeah, I was going up. I was trying to go sideways. You know what it was? I did it the one time, and then I tried to go vertical after that. And when I went vertical, my neighbor saw me, and he came and pushed the lawnmower back down. And he said, you know what? You've made enough money that you can go get somebody to do this.
Yes.
You had the facilities to not have to do this anymore.
No lie. Ever since like 2018, I've been lawnmowerless, man, but I'm glad to be in the seat right now.
Well, we are glad to be here at Dickens Turf Landscape Supply. What I love about this place is whether you are a pro, whether you know everything about taking care of your lawn, they've got all the equipment that you need to walk in and say, yep, I know what I'm doing. I'll go get it. Great. Good to go. Or if you are someone like me who needs a lot of help because they don't know where they're starting with all the equipment, with all the advice, with the parts, the products, they can do that too. They are outstanding here in their service. Best of the best. So glad to be here today. And 104.5 The Zone is all across their locations throughout the afternoon. It's a game day.
Yes.
For the Tennessee basketball Volunteers against the Kentucky Wildcats. How do we feel about that?
Man, I'm getting
I heard a deep breath from
I know, he did take a deep breath there.
I feel like we're being realistic about the matchup in general, whether you're big blue or whether you're big orange. Mm-hmm. Like, you legitimately feel this way because the rivalry is so thick right now, and both teams are actually that good. I got trash talked to me yesterday by a middle schooler.
Yeah, sure.
I love it.
Yeah, he had on his Kentucky shirt. One of our football players had on a Big Blue Nation shirt. I was like, oh, y'all in here, huh? But we're close to the Kentucky border, and just in general, like, Kentucky's got a big fan base. But overall, the game, both sides are saying the right stuff.
Yeah.
As much trash as I want to talk, I'm not the one playing. I do believe the Vols win tonight, though, if I'm giving away my prediction.
6-12. Rest of the show is irrelevant for a moment.
We're done.
As long as you say that they win.
We're done. But the matchup and the intensity behind it right now, all of that will be out the window.
It's going to be interesting.
Whenever the ball is tipped off.
Yeah.
I just hope we get good games like last night because for the most part, we had some really good games in the Sweet 16 day one of it. So hopefully we can get some good battles. I know you guys would not like your hearts to be beating that fast, but I'm all for good matchups here.
It's worth it after the fact.
Yeah.
If it means a win, then I'll take 5 overtimes.
Right?
I'm saying, everybody's asking, you going to the game? No, I have rules.
I have rules.
If I was not on Nashville SC's radio call tomorrow, I would be heading there right after the show.
You might go Sunday, though, right? Or a
That is the plan.
Yes.
That is plan. But we don't book tickets. We
Right.
don't do,
You don't do
I don't
any of
believe in
that.
jinxes, but let's be honest, we all have to do our part. So I will not be
Absolutely.
putting
We've already been
together
through this.
any travel plans. No, Justin, jinxes are not real. You're new to this show. You're new to spending this much time with me. If I had impact over my team's sporting events with my words, they'd have more than one championship.
The last
in my
time we
adult
talked
lifetime.
about this, I told you don't say anything. It won't go into extra innings if you don't say anything. You said something, it went into extra innings.
Well, that was just me doing analysis, saying that I think Tennessee ETSU might be a really good game.
But
And
it's
I was
true.
right,
Also
so.
true. By the way, what the heck is going on with you this morning? You got on jeans.
What? What do you mean?
You got on jeans. I don't
We're
think
out
I've
in public.
ever seen you
We're
wear
out amongst the
jeans.
people. I wear jeans all the time.
No, you do not.
Yeah, I do.
No.
I absolutely do.
We don't see
I'm
him in
shook
jeans as
by
much.
this.
I usually am
Khakis
in.
it's usually khakis or like an athletic
Well,
casual pants.
I outgrew my jeans, so I
right.
had to buy some new ones back
Those
in
were
December.
nice.
Thank you. I won't tell you what brand. I'll tell you off air.
You see what I'm saying? You said
No
like
free
this.
shout
We're here to
outs.
push coffee and mowers today. Ain't nothing else we're selling on this radio program. I'm
This
just
is
kidding.
new to me. And my
I mean, if they were Wrangler,
least
that'd
not
be
during a
fitting
segment.
really well.
I love a good
Not Wrangler.
jean.
Nope.
Okay? Love a good Wrangler jean.
615-737-1045 is our number. Sweet 16 reaction. And I'll be a zombie this morning. I did my part late last night. I forewent sleep to tell you about the Sweet 16 games, and my goodness, they were marvelous. We'll talk about them next. So sometimes you go to a restaurant, you go to a place, and the appetizers just stink. And then the meal is terrific. Well, that's what the NCAA tournament gave us last night as RKW Brewed by Scooters Coffee continues live from Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply in Mount Juliet this morning. The appetizers, the first 2 games, kept the Terps were in it for a little bit.
They were.
And then the last 2 games, guys, terrific. The Sweet 16 ended up being very fun last night, even though I was a little worried there at first.
Yeah, I ended up pulling out of those games at about like 5 minutes, the last 2, like 5 minutes before it was done, and I made a fatal mistake, man. That was very amateur of me, man.
It was.
Here I was not sacrificing sleep to actually pass up on some good opportunity to see an overtime game. Not just that, but Calipari and overtime. That was I was shocked. Something told me, man, just hang around for a little while. Wrong, man. I'll be honest with you. I thought the appetizers were pretty good. I thought one restaurant.
Florida Maryland was good for a lot longer.
No.
Yeah.
BYU's never practiced defending threes, and my goodness, my upset alert on them, big old swing and a miss.
Yeah.
It was opening day, and I struck out on that one.
Definitely made threes that I did not think would I mean, they're good at making threes, obviously. That's a good shooting team. But in terms of breaking the record for the tournament, with the amount of threes that they shot, they were on a roll. It was like the first time you saw them shoot it, you kind of felt like it was going to be one of those nights for them in terms of hitting that. And they did what they needed to do.
I figured it was going to be good when I heard Nate Oates said, yeah, they're a team that can run. They want to run with us, and that's what we're going to do. And at that point, I felt like he felt disrespected by BYU's attempt to hang with them. Mm-hmm. And I feel like at the end of that interview, y'all, he said, I bet.
Yeah.
Like, bet. Watch you guys try to run with us. And I ain't going to lie. Well, they had some firecracker shrimp on that appetizer for me. Because, Kayla, the way they were just throwing it in the ocean, I almost like tweeted out some profanity and said Florida is throwing it in the ocean right now. Like, they could not miss. Like, I noticed.
In the darn ocean.
Oh, in the darn ocean. I would have been very clean, just so you know. I try to keep it very PG on my Twitters and socials.
For the kids,
okay?
for the
it's
children.
for the kids, man.
Family show.
For the people that believe in keeping it clean. But with that being said, I don't know if I've seen a shooting display as blatant and disrespectful as they were last night.
For Alabama.
It was amazing.
And BYU was pretty good on offense.
They were.
They weren't bad. They just weren't hitting those threes like they needed to.
They couldn't run with them.
No.
They just couldn't run with them. Absolutely not.
And Mark Sears, we talked about this yesterday. He needed to have a really good game. He did that and beyond.
34 points, 30 threes, or 30 points off of threes for Mark Sears last night. 113-88. Alabama is in the Elite Eight for the second straight year. For the first time in program history. Crimson Tide 25 of 51 from three. That breaks the record of 21 set by Loyola Marymount in a second-round game against Michigan in 1990. Reports of Mark Sears' shooting demise were greatly exaggerated. I could not have been more wrong on that. It really did look like BYU has never practiced defending three-pointers.
Yeah.
Ever.
It did. It did, and not just that, man. They beat them up on the boards. Like, Alabama just seemed so much bigger than them. Like, I'm looking at the effectiveness. Like, I pointed out Grant Nelson yesterday before the game, and I was thinking to myself, he's got to have a big game. He didn't, as far as points, but he didn't have to. Rebounds and being able to dish the rock around was real good.
That was the biggest thing,
It
right?
was for a guy like him, man. It was phenomenal. Aiden Holloway, too. Like, they could not miss. I'm past that game because I hadn't seen a shot like that. Like, see them shoot like that. 51, what was it, 51 three-point attempts?
25 of 51, yeah. That's right.
Nuts, man. What a display. I enjoyed that one because it was just like, all right, well, we got a little bit of less stressful game.
Yeah, I mean, I also thought you had mentioned just the distribution of the ball. I thought the ball movement just in general with Alabama yesterday being a team game. I mean, Sears obviously went off, but I felt all in all like they played a really good team game in terms of distributing the ball around. Like once they got a cap on BYU, it was almost like they just couldn't climb out of that.
It was. And Richie Sanders, man, hats off to him. He tried his best, but in the words of K-Dot, it's not enough.
It's not enough.
Good season by them, though. By the way, they kept showing their incoming freshman.
Yeah, A.J. Debanza, number one player in the country.
he looked like he was ticked off, but I can't imagine what BYU is going to look like with him, though. I mean,
yeah, they've got as much NIL money. They might have the most expensive roster in college basketball next year. To be
That's
honest
what
with
I heard.
allegedly $5 million for AJ DeBenta.
I think around that number. Yeah, I think that's right.
It's money up there in Utah.
Oh my!
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Oh my!
Mark Sears was 1 of 9 from 3 in his first 2 NCAA tournament games.
Yeah.
So much for that.
Right? He said bye-bye to that whole thing.
So much for that.
It's funny watching these coaches pull inspiration from the slightest thing. The way he and Mark Spears, Nate Oates and Mark Spears spoke after the game, you could tell it was good getting that monkey off their backs.
It was. I mean, it's crazy to think about, too. You hit 25 threes. Like, this is probably obvious. Like, that's 75 points.
That is wild.
That is, 25 by 3 is 75. Like, that is the crazy part. They were saying that on the Westwood One broadcast last night I was listening to. And I kind of put that together. I was like, wow, you think about it that way, it's good recipe to win.
I mean, think about this. You said Sears hit 10 of them.
Yeah, he
had 34 points.
Yeah, 30 of his 34 on threes. So, Chris Youngblood said after the game, the Westwood One broadcast, he said, honestly, like, we're such a good shooting team. As bad as we'd been shooting, good shooting teams then have an explosion at the end of that, where it all comes correct because numbers are numbers. And if you keep shooting enough, which in that NATO's offense you're always going to, you're going to make them. And especially against a bad three-point defense. I mean, honestly, BYU offensively did what I thought they would do. Yeah. I just thought that Alabama wouldn't make 25 threes. So.
And that's a bad sign for if they can keep that going against Duke. I actually have Alabama upsetting Duke. I know that seems wild right now, but I feel like once you kind of get some confidence like they had in terms of getting their shooting back, and Mark Sears especially, you never know what can happen.
Well, Duke last night looked like a wagon. 193 over Arizona. Cooper Flagg scored 30. Guys, Cooper Flagg is that guy.
Yeah, he's good.
He is. He was living up to an unbelievable amount of hype coming off of his summer with the U.S. Olympic team, and a lot of the rumblings out of that word. No, this Cooper Flagg guy was not just a token college kid or high school kid. Hey, let's come learn and spend time around these guys. Pick. Like, this guy can play. And my goodness, whoever gets him in the NBA is going to get the next guy in the NBA from the United States.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, not just outside game. He's got an inside game, too. Like,
he's got everything.
He's tall enough to do everything you want on the court, man. Like, he's been followed, of course, like since like his sophomore, junior year. Mm-hmm. And he's living up to it. Not just living up to it, but of all places at Duke also. Like, he's like, his mid-range is there. His three-point shot is there. His ability to rebound was there. Only thing, and play defense, too, because last night I heard them stoke the fire just a little bit on the TV broadcast. They said, and Nate Smith, Defensive Player of the Year. And I was just like, don't do this. Don't do this, y'all. If I'm not mistaken, it was Cooper Flagg. I was just like, let it play out. Don't start doing this national media versus Meshack situation. This is the one time I was thinking. I was just like, Meshack actually deserves this one. But that's my homerism a little bit, but also watching Meshack be who he is and lock down who he locks down week in and week out. Tonight is a big test for him, certainly is a big test for him. But I heard one of the national guys drop Cooper Flagg being National Defensive Player of the Year, and I said, it seems like the fix is in.
Yeah, 30 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, and 3 blocks. And I know Coach saying that this was like one of the best performances he's seen in terms of an individual player in the tournament. And just to think that he got injured in that tournament for the ACC, and to think that he would not be in the tournament would have been a disgrace. Because as much as you don't want to see these types of guys when your teams are going against them, I mean, this is a phenomenal, like I said, rare player. Yeah. Also, you can't take away anything from Caleb Love because he obviously did his part. It just wasn't enough for Arizona when it was all said and done.
Cooper Flagg, not a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year.
Last night they dropped something.
They were talking about National Player of the Year, just period.
Oh.
Which he will be. Yes.
No, I thought
I watched the whole thing.
Somebody messed up somewhere.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Somebody messed up. It wasn't me this time, Kurt.
Between him and Janai Broom for National Player of the Year, I would give it to Broom, but after watching Cooper Flagg, played better competition.
Overall,
I thought Cooper's, as of late is where
Cooper will win it. I think he is the odds-on favorite by a pretty wide margin. But I would give it to Janai Broom because he's got comparable numbers but did so on one of the best SEC regular season teams of all time in the best conference in the history of college basketball in one season. So I'd give it a Janai.
And it's showing now in the tournament because you still got plenty of teams alive.
We'll talk about that matchup, too, in the Auburn and Michigan, because Michigan's got some dudes that could actually neutralize Janai Broome tonight, which will be really interesting. But Duke hit 100 points for the 5th time this season, the 4th time since mid-February, 60% from the field, 58% from three. They're 85% from the free throw line. And Cooper Flagg with a little bit of history last night as well. The first Duke player with 30 points, 5 boards, 5 assists in a tournament game since assists became a stat in 1984. I don't see a weakness on this Duke team. Like, I have never felt better about them as my national champion pick, and I think Alabama is running into a buzzsaw because they can defend as well as they can play offense. And their size, they're the tallest team in college basketball.
They look like it.
And they play like it. Sometimes you see, like, oh, they're the tallest team in the sport, and it's like, respectfully, some soft 7'3" guys that just can't finish around the rim, or like, they just got big bodies, right? Duke has big bodies who are skilled on both sides of the floor.
Yeah, Kaman Malak, is that how you say his name right
Malak,
there?
I believe.
Kaman Malak. Not only is he 7'2" as far as he's listed, but his ability to move. He's not one of those big stiff, like Green Giant type of movement type of guys. Like, he's moving with the ball in his hand, he's distributing it around, and he's rim protecting at the same time, and he has the ability to score. You're right. Like, this matchup was I don't think they had enough last night as far as Arizona, and I got to give it to Tobe Awaka, former Vol man at Arizona. He played his heart out. He got away with a few fouls here and there, but as far as trying to push guys around, he was there. It's just they're so big as a team. Cooper Flagg is standing at 6'9" and able to like move around,
playing like a 6'5" guy.
Oh my gosh,
he should be a high school senior right now.
He should.
So nuts to think he's 18.
And that Montverde team that he came from, that also had Derek Queen from Maryland on it,
exactly,
and 3 other guys that are starting in Power 4 Division I basketball. Insane.
Speaking of local teams, though, that have been feeding into bigger teams, there were a ton of shout-outs in that Alabama game to Belmont.
Yeah.
I kind of thought it was, like, rough when he said it was a development kind of school. And I'm like, well, I mean, they've actually been a school that has been to the – I know what he was saying because they're now taking from the program.
Oh, yeah.
But I almost felt bad for Belmont in the moment that, like – yeah, now you're just considered a feeder in a way. You know?
They're definitely a lot more than that, for sure.
I was like, this is a program
one of the best mid-majors in the last 20 years of college basketball.
It's a different conversation for a later day as we got the tournament, but like, is that a benefit for coaches?
Well,
at some point,
we've asked Casey about it before, and he does not recruit to be a feeder program.
Okay. Right.
He recruits to win.
Right.
And he's won a lot, and that program's won a lot. And they were the semis of the Missouri Valley Conference tournament this year against the Drake team that we saw upset Missouri, and that was who knocked them out. But the reason why they got shout-outs is because you had 2 former Bruins battling yesterday in Florida's 87-71 win over Maryland. Will Richard and Jacoby Gillespie, who did not play together, I don't think, but were both former Bruins. And Will Richard, a part of that backcourt for Florida that it's just
so good,
is pretty perfect right now, to be honest with you. Walter Clayton, Elijah Martin, Will Richard combined for 42 points in this game. This one went exactly how I thought it would, and then Florida kind of pulled away a little bit more than I thought they would at that very end. But this one followed the exact script I expected. It was close at halftime. The Crab Five battled for Maryland.
They did.
And then they just have no bench scoring at all.
Right.
Their first bench point was with 1:15 left of the game. Maryland last night, 87-71 Gators.
And what was wild is they didn't know if Alex Condon was coming back for the Gators, and he came back eventually.
Yeah.
Which I don't think they would have needed him anyway, just because of how deep this team is. But really rare. But Florida turning over the ball early in this game, I think, kept Maryland in it in that first half. But when you look at really what happened in that game, it's just Florida, and we mentioned this yesterday, dominating the boards. I mean, out-rebounding them 42-20 was Florida. When you have control of, rebounds like that, you're going to win games, and Florida just dominated in that fact.
They did. Savage always says, Ron Slay always says, like, whoever wins the tournament is because of guard play. And I think that was the separator in watching this Maryland game in Florida is the fact that they had experienced guards that were aggressive enough to understood the weight of what they were going through. Like Will said, it was close going into half. 40-38 was the score going into half. And you had guys who hadn't been in that position like a Derek Queen, who's a stud of a freshman. They finally, as of late, and the reason I bring up the experience in guard play, I feel like when they got late and they got tight and Florida started to separate themselves, they got nervous. I felt like they got tight as far as Maryland was concerned. And you had guys like Derek Queen that was fouling. Who's the other young stud guard that they have? Was it Jacoby Gillespie? Like
Greenville. Greenville Green Devil.
Yes, like you saw them get frustrated, I felt like, in that game. And all you saw was Walter Clayton Jr., 3-point line, jack it up, splash. Yeah. Like it was a good fight by Maryland though. It went exactly how I thought it would too.
And now their coach probably headed to Villanova.
I know,
which will be an interesting saga to follow.
Kind of a weird thing because he didn't really come up front and say he was leaving like throughout the season, but he was complaining a lot about the availability of funds and everything for the program. So I think it was kind of weird to see that whole thing unravel as your coach is leaving. But Derek Queen is a stud, by the way. You can't mention Maryland
27 points yesterday.
Mentioning Derek Queen.
It was a slow 27 too, in a sense. Like the way Florida went and got buckets was like they made Derek Queen go work for his. He's good around the rim.
He's
what
really
it reminds me of? Joker. Like he reminds me of Joker. Like he plays like a European player to me. He also has that fake little foul that he gives up too. He got a few of those last night where he was flaring a little bit during the course of the game and driving.
Gators in the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2017. They will get Texas Tech, who comes back from down 16 against Arkansas. Darian Williams and JT Toppin woke up when they needed to, and the point guard Elijah Hawkins finally got a three to go exactly when he needed it as well. Texas Tech could not shoot early in this game, and it was just like that. Snap of a finger. They were down 13 with less than 5 minutes left.
Right.
To Arkansas in this game. This is why we sleep in May, Ramon Foster. They led by as many as 16 in the second half. This is the Red Raiders' comeback is the third largest ever in the Sweet 16. Arkansas had the lead for 38 minutes and 53 seconds. Texas Tech led for 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
38 and 58.
So if you were just waking up this morning, you're like, whoa, hold on. Arkansas lost? Correct.
Yeah.
Arkansas lost. You're hearing me correct.
Should Coach Cal have called a timeout there in that final
No,
timeout?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't
Because
think
he
so,
kind
no.
of explained why he didn't or he doesn't. Because he's been known for not really doing that and just trusting his guys.
Yeah, he's been that way.
But
has.
I don't know. It's like, would that been better to scheme up something? You always question. He's like, of course I would call the timeout now, but I can't go back and change history. So it's always interesting how Coach Cal down the stretch, some of the decisions that he makes in terms of, winning and losing games.
It was funny. I want to quote it correctly, but there was a funny tweet of like, considering some of the sets that John Calipari draws up that aren't so great, what was he really going to come up with? Like,
that too, I guess.
There are
right?
coaches who, and this is no slight to John Calipari, who's still a good basketball coach. There are coaches whose strengths are the X's and O's and drawing up cuts and open shots and looks. And then there are coaches who assemble the talent and roll out the basketballs. And that's way too overly simplistic of a role of what John Calipari does. But with the talent that he has and some of the dudes on that team, I had no issue with it.
So he's a Jimmy's and Joe's guys. What you telling me? Like,
I think
look,
so.
he's not, obviously, he still is drawing up plays. He's not just rolling out the basketballs. I'm exaggerating that to make a point. But considering the guys he does have, I don't mind him trusting his team at that point.
I don't think that's like too far-fetched though, Will, considering like that's been his biggest thing is at Kentucky was come to me and you go to the NBA. Like he has been that type of coach as of late. Like Jimmy's and Joe's is what he specialized in, and I think he's just a little bit ahead of schedule now as it pertains to make it to the Sweet 16 at Arkansas.
Yep.
615-737-1045 is our number. Jeremy Pruitt in the news again. Who isn't suing the NCAA? We'll tell you about the newest lawsuit next. Hey, it's Will Bowling. Are you thinking about getting into the trades or, hey, ready to just take your skills further? Well, I'm here to tell you that Lee Company has the opportunities that you're looking for. Lee Company is hiring skilled tradespeople in HVAC, plumbing, electrical, sheet metal, and more. With 80-plus years in business, competitive pay, and free training, their award-winning team is ready to help you grow in your career. So apply today at leecompany.com/careers. That's leecompany.com/careers. Lee Company, they do it all. You've seen the 1,000 vehicles in their fleet, their vans and their trucks, the different Lee Company vans that roll around Middle Tennessee. Over 1,700 employees, over 80 years of experience. And trust me, here in Middle Tennessee, when you're trusted since 1944, you learn how to do business the right way. So if you want to take your skills further, take a look at some opportunities with Lee Company at leecompany.com/careers. That's Lee Company, all you need. RKW is brewed by Scooters Coffee with locations in White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood. Download the Scooters Coffee mobile app today to order ahead and save $2 off your first mobile order. We've got the Scooters Coffee going here, live from Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply in Mount Juliet. Shout out to Eki Bomb.
Yes.
Rolling over,
Nice
scooting
work,
over
Bob.
to Scooters Coffee, and we've got Scooter Doodle going. We've got some waffle breakfast sandwiches, which I've just downed in the last break, and I've got a warm cinnamon roll calling my name in this next end of the hour. So
I had those
Good
egg
stuff.
bites, man. They're better than the Grand
Terrific.
Goddesses. Is what
They
I'm
are,
telling you.
yes.
They are
We will not mention that real name.
Fantastic.
Right?
I don't even know what you're talking about. We are here at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply for Ferris Days. You can come by and see us. You can watch us on Zone TV as we broadcast the show in lawnmowers this morning.
This is the
Experience
best.
that Ferris difference today at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply during Ferris Days. Going on now, take advantage of the best financing and prices of the year. We will be at different locations throughout the day here on the Zone, and that starts with us here in Mount Juliet this morning. Jeremy Pruitt in the news, suing the NCAA for $100 million in lost wages, filing a lawsuit against the governing body in DeKalb County, Alabama. Maybe he's hoping to get a judge that is an Alabama grad. In the complaint, he claims the NCAA conspired with Tennessee to make him a sacrificial lamb for rules violations. Yahoo Sports first with the report. Pruitt fighting against his 6-year show cause, saying, well, he's the last coach to ever be penalized for this because this isn't even a rule anymore, and trying to get some money back in the process.
That's what it is. It's a money grab at this point. Like you said, well, everybody has won against the NCAA in some capacity, except Tennessee baseball players. But everybody somewhat won against them in some capacity. What this is he's gotten a strong enough case on his side to where a lawyer has picked it up, and you throw an astronomical number out like $100 million and hoping to settle for something. Like he's basically trying to sue for wages lost, and he had to go far and above that in that lawsuit to get the number that he actually wants. The issue that he has is this. One, the NCAA controls the media in the sense of how they can publicize his case and what they are winning and not winning. The other side is, I'm sorry, Jeremy, NCAA's bag is just way bigger than yours to fight this case. It honestly boils down to that. Like when you in those types of lawsuits, like it boils down to the amount of bag and how long you're willing to fight, because they can bleed him longer than he can ever try to attack them. And the cause of what's happening too, like he's a public embarrassment. I get that side of it. He'd have been better off suing for like defamation more than anything. And I feel like it's a part of that too. Like he's better off going that route. But Jeremy, that makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, he clearly saw something in this where he wanted to take enough time and money of his own to put into getting something back from the NCAA, which, by the way, there's no love for the NCAA in any situation. I feel like they always continue to screw up everything. I'm not saying he's going to get a ton of money out of this, but I think that he thinks there's something there, and the lawyer obviously did, that they'll win a little bit when it comes to this. I don't know how much they conspired to do anything, but
good luck proving that.
But yeah, and that's what's going to be the toughest thing to prove.
Yep.
But he clearly feels some type of way, and to know that he's still feeling that type of way here 2 years after is pretty incredible. It's hung on with him that long.
Get paid. The funny thing is that if he's suing for lost wages, buddy, you're going to get fired within a year or two anyway. You won't get paid that much. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
What are we doing? $13 million buyout was obviously bought out. Then you have the remaining years in his contract and any other opportunities that he would have had. $100 million, Jeremy, buddy. You were 2-11 against ranked teams. What are we doing? What are we really doing here?
Kayla, to your point though, too, like the win to get something. It's almost to the point like, can the NCAA allow him to win? Because
well, you got to break even on lawyers' fees too to win something.
That's the biggest thing.
Like,
why he's doing this,
and he'll have an army.
He can do something.
He'll have a dream team.
That's where it becomes very problematic. I'd love to know if his lawyers have worked these type of cases before.
I'm sure.
I'm not I'm not fluent in law firms or whatever, but if the NCAA does concede, if they do concede, then who else comes behind Jeremy is the other part of it too.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, right now there's a pretty good run for coaches that have been in trouble in the past. Look at what Will Wade just did with McNeese.
That's true.
Getting an FBI wiretap's not the end of your career if you can still coach. Problem is Jeremy Pruitt can't coach.
Yeah, that's the difference
That's the
between
issue.
Wade and
So,
him.
That's
yeah.
his issue. You're right.
It's so funny. I was talking to Lucas about this yesterday at Fog Street. The things we talk ourselves into as fans. I remember when Jeremy Pruitt got the job, and it was such a sharp departure from Butch Jones and his cliches and his Butchisms that it's like, oh my gosh, he's just a football guy. Like he's just he's just an old school football. He's a ball coach. Like usually if you're describing a coach as a ball coach, you're probably overcompensating because you don't really like your coach.
That's all you can say.
It's like, oh, he's a ball coach. No, he's just not very bright. He's just not very good at this.
And not only just that, like I remember like attaching like the places he'd been.
I know.
The guys he had recruit. Like, and I met Jeremy. I met him at a spring practice when he had the cover over his face. Like we went up there.
That's like his thing. That's
It
where
was.
that's
That's
all
what he
you
went
see.
viral
right?
for.
Neck thing,
Yeah.
whatever
The On
it
Three
was,
and their
man.
graphics guy made
Oh,
that
my
the
goodness.
graphic yesterday.
He made
The On
like-
Three graphics guy on a generational run. If
The
you're
bold
not familiar.
print.
He made like mistakes that you just don't do. Like he tried to incorporate players from Georgia and Bama and Florida State, wherever else he was at, into like the Vols' success. And I thought that was like a flagrant mistake of his going into that university, as fragile as it was at the time. I got to give it to him. Like he recruited his butt off for certain guys. Like it wasn't all bad. He was just paranoid from the conversations I've heard
Seems
about
to be
people
like that, just in
around
general,
him.
right?
Like the moment that he felt threatened. Well, either way, this is it. Just he wasn't ready for that job at the
A
time.
college coach was paranoid and
Oh my! Oh my!
gasp. Never
Yeah, I
happened
know.
once before.
I know.
I feel like that
You're
will be
right,
the
though.
downfall
He
of
was
him.
cool.
100% right there.
He was cool with me, but as far as coaching,
He's better to work with media than Butch was. I'll say that.
I've heard.
When I was a
also
beat writer up there.
with his players.
615-737-1045 is our number. The Titans made a big decision yesterday saying that it's because of what fans wanted. I'm calling your bluff. That's next. 7 a.m. on the dot. Good morning for the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Will Bowling. Alabama started off the Sweet 16 with a record-setting offensive performance yesterday, beating BYU 113-88. The Crimson Tide broke the 35-year-old March Madness record for three-pointers with 25 of them. Mark Sears scored 30 of his 34 points on threes. Florida joins them in the Elite Eight with an 87-71 win over Maryland. The Gators' backcourt of Will Richard, Elijah Martin, and Walter Clayton combined for 42 points. Duke beats Arizona 100-93, setting up an East Regional final with Alabama. And 10-seed Arkansas blows a 16-point second-half lead, falling 85-83 in overtime. While many of you were asleep to Texas Tech last night, the Gators and Red Raiders will play in the West Regional Final. Tonight, 2-seed Tennessee takes on 3-seed Kentucky in the Midwest Regional Semifinal in Indianapolis. The Vols are playing in their third straight Sweet 16 for the first time in program history. Kentucky is there for the first time since 2019. Tip-off is scheduled for 6:39, which you can hear right here on The Zone, courtesy of the Vol Network. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. RKW is brewed by Scooters Coffee with locations in White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood. Download the Scooters Coffee mobile app today to order ahead and save $2 off your first mobile order. A big show from Mount Juliet right here at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. We are here at 145 Old Pleasant Grove Road in Mount Juliet. It is Ferris Days at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. And you wouldn't drive a car without suspension, so why would you mow without it? At Ferris, our commercial mowers set the bar as the first and only manufacturer to integrate suspension into our mowers. With racing-inspired, patented full suspension and integrated cutting debts, you can go faster, cut better, and not get beat up. We are here sitting in lawnmowers to host the show this morning in the Mount Juliet location at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. And Ramon Foster is sitting in a beautiful red Ferris right to my left that's got the racing stripes and looks like you're about to push around a Formula One track or something.
What's crazy is it's comfortable. Okay, I just
Very
throw that out. The seat to begin with. Okay, let's start there. But it's also got like this little natural lean to it. Also,
you got a lot of horses at your disposal.
And I'm 6'6", okay, and like my legs aren't crunched up. Like I've been in cars tighter than I have this long.
So at 6'8", Ron Slay could still fit in there just fine.
Why y'all got to do this? Okay. Kirby, that's crazy. So now we got Uncle Ron, we got RJ, and then me is what you guys are telling me. I think I got Nardo, though, who will be in this weekend. I am, for sure, taller than my older brother.
Should have just grown more.
I should have, Kirby. What the?
He's just always standing on a hill.
Stretch me out, okay? Stretch me out.
You were stunning, probably. Something you ate as a kid.
It had carrots.
M&Ms?
I thought would help me.
Carrots or
M&Ms
fries?
Probably was the Doritos. It did it. It was
Stunt
the
your growth.
Doritos. It did it for me. And Sprites.
How do we feel about the Titans switching to Titan Blue as their primary home uniform and not wearing the Oilers jerseys in 2025?
Not a fan.
Not a fan?
Do not like the light blue. I've always been extremely vocal on this. There's something with the blue that is even different from like that blue in Houston that they had. It's almost more of like a sky blue or a teal almost. There's not a teal, but it's a weird blue. I know.
Columbia
and
blue,
I don't like the look of it, especially when they go all blue, which it looks like they might do more. But I am a big navy person when it comes to the Titans uniforms. I think that looks the cleanest. That looks the most kind of traditional, even though it is not traditional. I understand the baby blue part of it. I just don't like the color of blue that is their light blue.
Okay, gotcha.
So, and I'm mad because I loved the Oilers uniforms, but I get until you
like
win.
that light blue?
I like that light blue. That was my whole point. It's not that blue.
Yeah.
It's a different blue.
I actually like this for them though, as it pertains to them finding their identity moving forward. That's what this feels like to me. This is who we are moving forward as a team. Like, you go back and forth on the colorways and stuff like that. Like, most teams have what you like to say, a traditional jersey, like Philly. You know what theirs is. Like, you know what the uniform is. Like, even the Browns, I would throw in there, like, they have a uniform that you recognize, and it is what it is. The Cowboys is another one of those, and I feel like the Titans have gone back and forth for a good bit. I never thought much of it, but, like, saying this is who we are moving forward, just, I think, paints a picture of what their marketing is going to be for the Titans moving forward, what their identity and what their look is going to be also. And this is the part of it that gets me more than anything when it comes to the weather in Tennessee in camp, and the weather in Tennessee during August and September as it pertains to the heat that comes in too.
Yeah,
Same way with Miami.
I get like them trying to move their identity into just the Titans moving forward. And as much as I love those throwbacks, I understand like you can't really incorporate those back until you've established a winning culture as the Titans. So I get that part of it. But I get like saying we are the Titans, we are the baby blue. I just don't like that uniform color, I guess. That's the only thing I don't like is that color.
It's something they've done before. I mean, anyone else who's a local will remember, like, there were times where they were navy with white pants. There's been times the Titans have switched to the light blue with navy pants. Like, Vince Young has got a ton of highlights in the light blue.
Yeah,
he didn't wear the navy as much.
Right.
To me, I think of Steve McNair and Eddie George with navy and white pants because that's what they originally came to town as. They switched to the light blue like late 2000s, kind of early 2010s. Then around the Marcus Mariota era, they moved back to navy kind of as the primary. Now they're going back to light blue. To me, like, it's tricky because Burke Nihill says in this article that Jim Wyatt posts at TennesseeTitans.com, we're talking to fans and we're listening, and there's a clear appetite to have the Titans, their team, represented on the field in this noticeable color that has been with this team from 1960 in Houston into Memphis at Vanderbilt as we played at Nissan Stadium. That's fine. I also don't know any fan that doesn't like the Oilers jerseys. That's the other thing. Like, if you're listening to fans and you're letting fans dictate this decision, then you don't get rid of the Oilers jerseys. So I think two things can be true. I think they're right that light blue is probably preferred by a lot of people in the fan base, and I do think it is recognizable, and it's a way to kind of blend the history with the present and the future, right? Like, it is close enough to Oilers blue that you can kind of pay homage to that while also being the Titans and not having two separate brands that kind of fight each other a little bit. But honestly, if you're going to say you're listening to the fans, then, like, wear the Oilers jerseys still. Like, I don't know why you can't do this and still wear the Oilers jerseys as your alternate. Just do away with the navy then. Like, that would have been the better move to me. Like, if you want to be Titans blue, that's fine. Just don't wear navy and then wear Oilers jerseys too.
I guess for me, and like saying listen to the fans is also the side of, or listen to the fans and doing the throwbacks and being somewhat petty has gotten you embarrassed wearing the Oilers.
Yeah,
right?
it's
that side of it too. I feel like
2 years in a row losing to Houston in them. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, and like you said, like as far as like what the Titans are, if we can pull the curtain back just a little bit in a sense, like speak on the front office things that have happened, like the amount of like legacy Titan staff that has been let go that we've heard about and that other folks have written about and posted on social media, like most recently, like Robbie Boring, like the removal of him or like he stepped away, whatever happened, like you look at what they are moving forward. I think you got to reestablish like everything on the field and everything front office. That's just me looking at the business side of it.
I just don't like it.
I know. I'm with you. I
agree with it. It. To me, this screams new stadium, new identity. Yeah. And I don't think this would be happening if they weren't moving into new Nissan Stadium, to be quite honest.
I just think they should change the blue, like get rid of that blue and go more identical to the Love You blue that Houston did. That's all I'm asking for. I don't like that. There's something about it that it looks cheesy almost. Okay. It looks almost like young, kiddish, like that color of blue. I know that's weird, but it's coming from like a brain of somebody who sees color really different. So I don't know. Maybe just can't they just change the Love You blue eventually that?
You much rather them go Oilers blue with this, like the powder blue? Mm-hmm. Okay, powder blue with it.
And then you can also keep the Oilers blue and the Oilers kind of theme without even wearing the throwbacks if you went that direction.
Your description of it is why I think they're choosing.
That's why they're changing it. Because they don't want to be
like,
they want to pay
I think
homage
that's
to it
what it
without
is.
being that. Like they want to be the Titans.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, like that's why. Like the establishment of this is the Tennessee Titans.
So I think it is the same exact blue. I'm looking at the color codes right now of it.
It doesn't look like that when they're wearing it, but maybe it's just because it's all like the red is different.
Because
right?
it doesn't have
the red and everything.
Right.
But yeah, it just looks different out there on the field for some reason.
Do you think they should do totally new uniforms for the new stadium?
New? Yeah.
Like just totally scrap it?
I think they
Why
will.
not?
I think they will.
I mean, they've not let these go for very long.
Yeah.
Because they really just kind of did new ones like 10 years ago. Is that enough time to just scrap it and say we're trying again?
If you're trying to rebrand completely, like it does seem like they're not trying to rebrand, but they are trying to kind of give themselves a new refreshed look. I say, why not do it right before the stadium opens? You have time still.
I wouldn't hate it at all.
The franchise I can think of off the top that's rebranded themselves, changed color, style, and logo almost, Seahawks.
Well, they did that when Nike took over as the uniform provider, and they gave them that gray color and the like all gray jersey, which just looks like jerseys that have been left in the wash for too long.
It's happened though, as well.
No, it happened.
Houston even did a new jersey.
Houston just did.
Browns.
The Broncos are the ones that are most notable in it that have some interesting
Did
ones.
Jacksonville do it too?
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, Jacksonville has
They
Detroit,
just never get it right.
Detroit just did new ones this year.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you really want to have a new identity, I'd lean all the way in and just
would
do a
too.
new look for the new stadium.
I'm with you, Will.
Honestly. And you sell more jerseys that way, too, because people got to get the new one.
Yeah, 100%. I see in our chat, a lot of people want the red.
No to the
Oh,
red. I
geez.
hate
that
the
red jersey.
I hate the red.
I didn't realize like that was, I hate to say fake jersey, but like
It was never worn.
It was never worn.
It was never worn.
This was from a website is what you're telling me.
Not a fan of the red.
Okay, all right.
Not a
I
fan
had
of
no
the
idea.
red.
I thought they played in the
No,
red.
I'm good.
Red accents. Like
Yeah,
gloves,
red accents are
shoes,
fine.
bands.
Do not like the red. Did not like the red jersey.
Yeah.
That's a very divisive topic for Titans fans. I'm not a fan, though.
I've seen
Let's quickly go to Bam. 615-737-1045. What's up, Bam?
Yo, first off, leave that red where it is. That red.
Yes, thank you, sir.
I thought people loved
No.
No, the red is the devil. Second off, even if they not wearing Love You Blue, I'm wearing it. I even went and got the white, the alternate white. I got it custom made. I went to customthrowbacks.com and got it custom made because those are the colors that, like, those pop. I don't know why you're not wearing the Love You Blues. That's the coldest uniform in the NFL to me, you know. And I'm just not saying that as a Titans fan, but, I mean, I don't know what Amy got going on, man. Can we apply for a job somewhere in there? Because this is just like,
Man.
it's like they just got a whole lot going on. Can any of y'all advocate for us? We would be good.
Well, there
is a lot going on.
They said this is what the fans wanted, Bam.
No, they lying. I'm speaking for the fans. I'm going to speak for the whole fan base. No, Love You Blue was a hit. It was a smash.
So, Bam, do you like the blue then jerseys real quick?
I mean, it's cool. It ain't something that make me be like,
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you see the Love You Blue, it pops. It's sexy. You can be fashionable with it in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Even the alternate white, it's so many different ways that you can dress that up as a fan or even on the field. It looks amazing. Some of the stuff that they got is just like, oh, okay.
It's rough.
All right. I mean, you get it because it's your team, but it ain't something that you just want to go be like, ooh, that's fire. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, Bam. We
Thanks,
appreciate
Bam.
it. The voice of the fan base this morning, the voice of the Bam base, talking about it this morning with the Titans Blue. Coming up next, VolQuest's Brent Hubbs. We will get a Tennessee-Kentucky preview, the latest on the spring practice field, and a Tennessee starter who is going to miss some time due to injury, first reported by VolQuest yesterday as well. All that and more with Brent Hubbs next. RKW Brew by Scooters Coffee continues this morning live from Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply in Mount Juliet. Full crew here, Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and Will Bowling. And we are joined for a big Orange Friday visit with VolQuest's Brent Hubbs. Lots to get into, as always, as there is every Friday at 7:20. Brent, I don't know if you've seen our video shot this morning. We are talking to you today while sitting in lawnmowers, literally the three of us, which I'm sure you can appreciate this morning. What's going on?
Well, absolutely. Today's 80 degrees today here in East Tennessee, and I've already mowed once. But y'all are out of kilter. Kayla's on the wrong side. You're in the middle, which is not supposed to happen.
That's true.
And Ramon looks about as uncomfortable can be sitting on a lawnmower.
Hey, when you're this tall and big, you find ways to adjust yourself to this, is what I'm telling you, okay? This is normal to me. Long as my legs can somewhat stretch out, Hubs, that's all I need. By the way, you got the first cut out of the way for the spring?
Yeah.
No,
man,
he's so impressive.
You got to get everything cleaned up, man. You got to get your pre-emergent down. You got to get your 2,4-D dandelion killer down. You got to get all your work done there. You know what I'm saying?
There we go. That's what I'm talking about right there, Hubs.
I absolutely love it. VolQuest's Brent Hubbs with us. Brent, Tennessee and Kentucky tonight in Indianapolis. What is the key for the Vols in a game that both opponents know each other very well, and Tennessee has not been on the right side of this matchup this season? How do they turn the tides and get to a second straight Elite Eight tonight?
I think they have to rebound the basketball. They can't give Kentucky second chance opportunities because Kentucky gets a lot of great looks from the three-point line on second chance, possession. So you got to complete the defensive possession by getting the basketball, not just getting a missed shot, but you've got to complete the possession by having the ball at the end of that shot. And then obviously they've got to run Kentucky off the three-point line. They cannot allow the Wildcats to shoot 50% again from the three-point line. And I'll tell you, watching games last night, man, the bucket was wide open for a lot of teams. I mean, that was even, I know what Alabama did was just ridiculous when you talk about 22 made threes. But even the first half of that Duke Arizona game, a lot of made shots from the perimeter. So teams shot the ball well last night. We'll see how Tennessee and Kentucky shoot the ball in a different venue, in a football stadium that they're turned into a basketball court. That can always be a little bit unknown coming in, but you just can't let Kentucky get hot from the perimeter like they have been in the last two matchups.
Brent, it's interesting. You look at the first two games, too, and Kentucky saw very different versions of the Tennessee guards that both Wofford and UCLA saw last weekend, especially Jordan Gainey, who was not much of a factor in those first two games. How much of this is Kentucky's guards are really good at defending what Tennessee does, Brent, or were those first two losses just kind of chalked up to shooting, and it is what it is, and the ball didn't bounce your way? Kind of where are you on that as far as this matchup goes tonight specifically?
Well, I think that's a great question. And I think when you look at the first matchup in Knoxville, that was not Tennessee's brand of basketball. They shot 45 threes or whatever it was. I mean, they were completely out of character for who they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to be offensively. In the second matchup, I thought Kentucky's guards, the size of Kentucky's guards affected Tennessee's guards a little bit. Again, I thought at times Tennessee settled. I think the challenge for Tennessee, one, Chaz Lanier's got to make shots like he did the first weekend of this tournament. He did not play well in Rupp, did not shoot the ball well in Rupp against Kentucky. He's got to get open. He's got to get some looks, got to get the ball down. And in Tennessee, Gainey and Ziegler in particular, and Ron Slay could talk about this in the last hour, they got to get 2 feet in the paint. They've got to get the ball in the paint and create some inside-out action. Shooters got to be in the sight line of whoever's in the paint. They got to hit them in the shooting pocket, so to speak, and make shots that way. I think Tennessee's got to move the ball through the paint more in this matchup than they have the first two times they played Kentucky.
Brent Hubbs with us this morning. VolQuest on 3. Hubbs, when you look at this matchup, right, Tennessee 7 deep, maybe 8. You mentioned defending the three-point line. Like, is it at a point to where can the Vols, I guess, handle the pace of the game and defending the three-point line as far as the depth that they have?
If you stay out of foul trouble, I'm not worried about the numbers this time of year. Most everybody's, bench gets shrunk down a little bit. This time of year, you don't probably go as deep unless you are truly committed to playing 10 players. I mean, everybody, coaches kind of, with the season on the line, they shrink it down a little bit more. They trust their veterans a little bit more. So I think when you the depth doesn't concern me unless Akpara picks up 2 early fouls, and Estrella picks up early foul trouble. Ziegler's got to avoid foul trouble tonight. And that's the one thing you have to do with Sakai. I think he's got to get settled into this game. He's going to be amped up. There's been some trash talking all week long, a little bit between the two teams. Zakai's got to be the leader and settle it. He cannot have a bad play that's a foul, and then you look up and he picks up another one right quick, or he picks up that third one super early, in the second half. They've got to have him on the floor. So he's got to be really smart in what chances he takes defensively tonight, what risk he takes in terms of staying out of foul trouble.
Well, we need to make sure we got 20/20 vision on where his mom is at, because if she got to get him corrected on how he's playing, that's all we need, Hubs.
Well, you're right about that. Here's the other thing too. I mean, if you're playing tonight, you got to figure out exactly how they're going to call this game.
Yeah.
I mean, the Duke game last night was tackle football.
Yeah.
Now, it was a flagrant for Arizona, but it wasn't a flagrant for Duke.
Yeah.
But they were tackling each other, and that game was just kind of beat each other up. Is the official going to call it that way? Are they going to call it tight for, are they going to let it go for the first 10 minutes and then tighten up the last 10 minutes of the first half? Like, you have to constantly be mindful of how that game's being played and whatever shift the officials are making. Because we've seen them swallow whistles. We've seen them suddenly start blowing you have to be mindful of that and not get yourself in foul trouble, because the game within the game changes how the officials are calling it. We saw that last night.
Sure will. Also this week, too, Rick Barnes had a lot of fans of the Vols basketball team breathe a little bit. He said, hey, he goes where the Lord tells him to go, and he hasn't spoken to him about retiring. What was that like in Knoxville and just around Vol Nation, hearing that from him?
Well, I think the vibe had been for the last couple of weeks that that was the case, that he was not looking to retire and was not planning on retiring. But remember, that got all worked up because of something he said at the tip-off club. I think you guys asked me about it a month and a half ago, about a comment he made about Zakai Ziegler basically keeping him in coaching. And, people ran with that comment and wondered what that meant. And I think Rick just had felt like, all right, this is becoming like a real thing. Like, he knows people ask every year if this is going to be it, because he's 70 years of age. But this one was different because of the comments he made. So he wanted to clarify that and where he's at. And I don't think he's ever really given thought to retiring this year. And he's ready to get going and see what happens in the portal after this season is over. They obviously picked up a commitment, on Monday. They're active in the portal. They're working for the class of, the next class as well that they're putting together. Rick said it Monday night on Vol Calls the Best, Ramon. He said, listen, when I'm no longer interested in learning about the game from my colleagues, when I don't want to pick up the phone and work my call list of colleagues that I like to talk ball with about my current team, then I know it's time for me to shut it down. Okay. And he's not there. He's on the phone all the time with coaches all around the country, talking about rules, talking about, hey, what'd you do in this situation? What are you doing offensively here? What do you like about defensively? How are you handling this ball screen coverage? That's his hobby. And until that becomes something he's not interested in being his hobby, I think he wants to coach for a bit longer. And I think that's glorious news for Tennessee fans who are enjoying March being what it is.
Brent Hubbs of VolQuest joining us this morning on RKW. You had mentioned real briefly about the transfer portal, and as much as they're focused on just winning games and winning a championship this year, that's always going on behind the scenes. And Rick Barnes has been very good at identifying what he wants in the portal and making it work within his teams. Are there any particular guys early on that they're focused on?
Well, I think they've got 12 to 15 guys that they like, that they're trying to find out more about. I think they're looking for another point guard. Even though they just got a commitment from a high school point guard, I think they're looking for a veteran point guard. There's a kid from up in Indiana, Jalen Jackson, I think would be on the list. There's a guard from North Dakota State, Jakari White, who would be on that list as well. And I think there's a big man from Rutgers that they might have interest in, and Lathan Somerville. And here's the thing. I'm not going to get on a long rant, Will, because I don't want to mess up your programming this morning about the NCAA.
You take all the time you need.
And what doesn't make any sense from the NCAA. Could you really not wait another week and a half for the portal to open?
Yep.
Facts.
Like I mean, none of them are going. Nobody who transfers going to their new school till June. Like, can you not wait? Can we just not wait till the Friday after the Final Four and go, okay, guys, here's 28 days after that to decide where you're going to go. We're done by the middle of May instead of the 1st of May. Like, what's the rush in this case? To me, that is an easy fix. That doesn't mean agents aren't working behind the scenes. Agents have been working behind the scenes since December about deals. That's always going to happen. But now you're sitting here and it's like, okay, I mean, Tennessee got back from Lexington and brought an official visitor in 6-7 hours later after they got back to spend the day with them to figure out what they were doing. If Auburn continues to win, they've got 2 official visitors scheduled next week while they're prepping for the Final Four. Wow. Like, I don't always agree with Tom Izzo, but Tom Izzo's right. Like, guys, let's finish this one out. Because the calendar in this case allows you to do so. So why not finish it out? And why are you giving teams that have been eliminated from the tournament an advantage to be more aggressive in their work in the portal while their competition is still playing basketball? You're punishing the assembly of your roster for next year. You're punishing the teams that are continuing to play. Like,
no, Brent, it's a great point.
I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, but I don't get much of what the NCAA does. So,
well, it's been a hot topic this week, so I'm glad you addressed it because the way that you described it, it makes sense with, like you said, other teams getting an advantage when these teams are still in it, trying to focus on winning tournament games. So great point there. Switching over to the football side of things, there are spring practice continues. They've got a few offensive linemen kind of new in the mix that are sticking out early, I should say. Who are those guys, Brent? What have they been impressed with on the line?
Well, I think you love the 2 transfers that you got at guard, and Wendell Moy, who's the lightest he's ever been. I think he's trying to figure out sort of what his body's doing right now. I mean, he played at 350 pounds a year ago, and he's running around about 320 right now. Now, he's going to enjoy that Monday night when they're scrimmaging, on a 100-yard field. They're putting the ball down, and they're trying to play fast and get going. But he's having to adjust a little bit to his body, but he likes where he's at, and I think he's going to be a really nice fit for Tennessee. I love the Sam Pendleton kid. I do. I mean, he's so much more comfortable at Tennessee, I think, than he ever was at Notre Dame. It was funny asking him, like, what'd you do over spring break? Everybody's going to the beach. I mean, remember, Ramon, what you did on spring break, right? I mean, all your boys, you went, I mean, he went home to the house and he spent the week, like, farming and fencing with his dad. Wow. Like,
love that.
I'm like, hey, dude, I like you. Well, let's talk some fencing.
Football
here.
guy.
I mean, he did, straight up football guy is exactly what you're talking about. I mean, he is a football guy. I think he's a great fit. I think he's going to be a natural leader for Tennessee, even though he's not been here very long. I think he has a great personality to fit with a work ethic and kind of a hard-nosed, blue-collar edge to him. And then I think the biggest one for Monday night is William Satterwhite at center. Satterwhite's done well to this point. He's really picked it up. He got off to a solid start, but he's gotten better since they came back from spring break. They feel like he's had a good week. Physically. Now can he put it all together where there's no real break between plays? You're going really fast. There's not a coach standing right behind the quarterback telling him what to do. Like, you're playing football. And how does he handle all the calls? How does he and Nico work together? I think this is a big scrimmage for Satterwhite to maybe take a step above everybody at that center competition. So I'm curious to see that. And, of course, always there's eyes on David Sanders because, well, he's David Sanders, and he's generated a lot of eyes for a year and a half. So we'll see what that looks like in a scrimmage.
Brent Hubbs of VolQuest, our guest. Brent, you guys had the report yesterday about Miles Kitselman and his injury that's going to knock him out for several months. But first and foremost, how optimistic are you that he is back for the start of the season, or too early to tell at this point? And secondly, who benefits or maybe has to step up now into a bigger role with him out?
Well, I think you would love to have him back at the start for the opener. I think it'll be close, depending on how he recovers. If not there, then I think you want him for week 3 against Georgia. And no offense to Syracuse, I mean you need all your hands on deck for Syracuse. I mean I know they're different because they lost a lot. They lost a quarterback, but they're still a Power 4 opponent. But when you look at that schedule, what you're looking at Georgia, and you're wanting Jamad McCoy on the field against Georgia, and you're wanting Kitselman on the field against Georgia. By any way you can get that done, I think that's the deadline of quote deadlines that you're trying to get there. I think without Miles Kitselman on the field, it means Ethan Davis has to go from being a guy who says all the right things to a guy who's doing all the right things every day on the practice field. He's more consistent. Alec Ablin, his position coach, talked about it last fall when there were some games that Davis didn't play. He wasn't a factor. And Ablin made it clear he has to be more consistent through the week. I think he has to be more consistent now. He says all the right things. He's a great interview. He really is, and he's a fantastic young man. He's now got to be more consistent, practice in, practice out, and become a real alpha in that room, not by what he says, but by what he does. Cole Harrison is a guy they like. He's got to stay healthy. We'll see how much he develops moving forward through the rest of spring. And then you've got those 2 freshmen and Jack Van Doorslayer, who's probably physically better ready, but further along than Deshaun Brame is right now. But, man, those 2 guys are going to get more reps than they could ever imagine getting the back half of spring practice here. I mean, it's really going to be about Harrison, Brame, and Van Doorslayer and how far can they develop over the course of the back half of the spring to help them get through whatever weeks they have to get through at the start of the year until Kitselman's back ready to go.
Real quick, I wasn't able to go nowhere on spring break until Ron Slay started supplying me with an NIL hubs. Just so you know, I can say that now. Okay, I can say that now. I drove his Benz around campus. And the other part is there's a huge scrimmage on Monday. First big one of this size?
Yes, sir. First big one.
All right, for sure. I'll see you there.
Oh, look at that teaser.
Hey, I won't get to be there. And the fact that you survived a spring break with Ron Slay, I mean, that's like getting off the island. I mean, you survived surviving. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, listen, I love me some Slay, but a week of freedom with Slay after basketball season was over, where he was managing and doing everything the right way he was supposed to. Woo!
Yeah.
Y'all had no fun at all.
Let's see the other side of that week.
Compliance office.
I love it. VolQuest's Brent Hubbs joins us Friday mornings here on Ramon, Kalen, and Will. Excellent as always. Check out the War Room at VolQuest.com each and every Friday. Brent, thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend.
Don't fall off the zero turn.
Yes, sir.
No, buckle up, baby.
I love it. There's Brent Hubbs with us this morning, previewing Tennessee basketball and talking some Tennessee football. All our visits with Brent Hubbs brought to you by Ascend Federal Credit Union, your financial partner for every stage of life. He's the best.
He really is. He brings knowledge at the next level.
No doubt.
Book him every day at this
I know, right? I learn something new every single Friday.
We ain't got to talk ball every time with him, man.
We could talk green mowing or, lawn mowing, tractors. He would have known how to do that too.
I mean, whatever you want to, ryegrass.
All right, coming up, Abdul Carter has gone back on something he said he was going to do. Has it hurt his draft stock for you? We'll talk about it next. The Abdul Carter injury saga continues, and, well, your quarterback's Cam Ward, so doesn't matter to you. It's RKW, broadcasted live from Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply here in Mount Juliet. As always, we are brewed by Scooter's Coffee. So Abdul Carter was going to work out at his pro day, and now Drew Rosenhaus says, well, he's still finishing up rehab on the shoulder injury he had for the Boise State game. Said, well, he may still do a workout for teams sometime in mid-April. Yeah, don't count on it. If it's Drew Rosenhaus, he's going to keep selling his guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And his guy is going to keep taking the most cautious approach possible because his guy is a guaranteed top 5 overall pick despite the injury. I don't love this, but at the same time, I don't really care. What do you guys think?
I would say this. I know Drew Rosenhaus is one of the best agents in the National Football League. No doubt about that, right? He's got some of the biggest clients, but he is also a guy I look at and I'm like, I can't trust a word you are saying. And I'm not saying that Abdul Carter, whoever drafts him in the top 5, like you said, Will, because I do believe that he will go in the top 5.
Yep.
He won't be a good player for them. I still think he's going to have a really good career. But right now, there are so many things around him that you don't know exactly what that injury is, how serious it could be, if they don't have the surgery. It just seems like they're skirting around the whole thing. You say he's going to do the pro day, then you don't. More questions then start to develop. Brain. And if you are a fan, it's just natural for you to be like, well, is this guy really going to be the guy for us in the future? We don't have to worry about that, I don't think, here in Tennessee.
Nah, Drew's one of those guys, man. He's a great salesman. He knows how to paint the picture and do everything that you need him to do when it comes down to it. And he keeps it exciting. That's what he's doing right now for Abdul Carter. He probably knew back then he wasn't going to be available. I feel like it's the shoulder, right, Will, that he's dealing with?
They're saying it's the shoulder from the Boise State game.
From the Boise State game.
I'm skeptical that it's actually the shoulder.
Yeah.
With that being said, like, this is one of my contingencies, I feel like a couple of months ago with him and the injuries was he's going into training with it. You also find yourself, how available will he be with you whenever he does get drafted? Like, shoulder surgery, I've known numerous guys to have that. I'm not sure if it's shoulder or just rehab or if there's something new. But as the type of athlete that he is, as far as his power, explosion, and what you want from him, this type of stuff happens from time to time with these types of dudes. The issue that you're running into is, do you really need to see his testing or do you trust his tape? And I feel like his tape is going to go a long way. There's so many guys that don't run the 40, do the bench press, all those types of things.
He's got pretty dang good tape.
He's got good tape.
Yeah.
In February, Rosenhaus told Adam Schefter, we fully expect Abdul to be recovered in time to work out at his pro day at Penn State, and he will perform at a very high level. Ahead of the combine, he even went as far as to forward to NFL teams a letter of medical clearance to resume training from Dr. Dan Cooper, who is the Dallas Cowboys team physician who has treated him for his upper body injury. His shoulder ain't hurt, guys.
No.
Let's just get one thing clear.
I agree.
Abdul Carter's shoulder is not injured. It's still the stress reaction thing. They're still being cautious with it, but that is more of a hot topic issue injury than the shoulder is. And that's fine. I get it. Like, there's really no incentive for Abdul Carter to work out. He cannot go up draft boards. He legitimately, I don't think it is possible for him to raise his stock with a pro day workout. But if he were to run on a foot that's not 100% and he pops up, 4.8?
Yeah.
If he Xavier Restrepo's this thing, then we're having a different conversation. So, again, like, I don't really care, but I'm annoyed. That's the best way I can describe it. It's not a disappointing decision as much as it is just kind of annoying, just because it's just typical Drew Rosenhaus and typical agents who have no credibility to me when they say things about their clients in the media like this.
It's like, if you would have known that, just say that, and then we just know, okay, he's not going to do any of this stuff, right? But it's been like up and down, up and down. He might not. If he couldn't, he couldn't, and that's that.
There's been others that have done way less than he's done or nothing at all,
Correct.
too. I'm not worried about it. It's just that you don't want his professional career when guys get bigger, more experienced, more concentrated at their craft, and you're not going against 18-year-olds in college.
Right.
Like, you don't want this for his career to be something that continues on each and every year. Like, if the shoulder's a problem, cool. If it's something else, get it fully healed, because you are the incorporation of yourself at that point.
His games played per season: 13 games in 2022, 13 games in 2023, 16 games in 2024.
Yeah.
He'll be fine. It's just, anyone calling Abdul Carter injury prone at this point, I think just found out who Abdul Carter as a human being was when he played in the college football playoff. And it's pretty much that simple. Like, if you've known him or have watched him for any amount of time, you know that the guy plays through things and is on the field. So it's interesting, but we'll see if it really does hurt him at all. I mean, it feels like he's not going to get past Mike Vrabel and the Patriots.
No.
Oh, heck
at
no.
4.
No. I can't see that being the case at all.
I do not want the Jags to get him. I'd rather him be a Patriot than a Jag because Abdul Carter and Josh Hines Allen in Jacksonville is going to be a problem.
Yeah,
It's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I still think the Jags are going to get another wide receiver.
Mason Graham
really
seems to be the guy they're going to get.
Oh, that's true.
At the number 5 spot because I don't think there's a receiver worthy of the number 5 pick in my opinion. I'm not a big enough Kent McMillan fan to take him there personally.
I understand that. I look at like you're right. If Jacksonville get him, then you got Will Anderson and Grenard and Houston all over again. That's 2 teams.
And DeForest Buckner and Indy.
No, Daniil Hunter's who I mean. Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson.
Yeah.
Like that is.
Yep.
You don't want to see that.
No, you do not want to see that.
Especially with a young quarterback.
Right.
His floor as far as Abdul Carter, I feel like is 5. No lower. Absolutely no lower.
Yeah. Him on the other side of Josh Hines Allen would be would be a challenge.
Oh, my goodness.
For JC Latham and Dave Moore. 615-737-1045. Coming up in hour 3, we're going to sit down with Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders' private quarterback coach.
Yes.
Darrell Colbert is going to join the show at 8:20, so stay tuned for that. If you got a work meeting at 8, it's okay. We forgive you. But you can check out the 104.5 The Zone podcast channel and check out the Ramon Kalen Will podcast wherever you download podcasts. It will be posted there at the end of the show as well. But why would you not want to listen live if you can?
It's the best way.
You're going to listen live because it's going to be posted everywhere. You want to hear it first when you hear it right here. Coming up again, that is at 8:20. We are broadcasting live from Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply Ferris Days here at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. We are here in Mount Juliet. Buck and Lucas, the Buck Rising Show, they will be at Brentwood Mower, 130 Frierson Street, coming up at 10 o'clock. Cover 2 with Blaine and Zach and 3HL will both be in the borough at the new location of Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. Come out and see us. Check out these Ferris mowers. These things are comfortable. They are legit. They look like Formula One cars. They look like the racing stripes, the suspension, you name it. They have got it here at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply.
Take them off for a minute.
Coming up, more March Madness reaction. We stayed up late last night to watch the games, so you didn't have to. We'll talk about it next. Good morning. It is 8:01. I'm Will Bowling. Alabama started off the Sweet 16 with a record-setting offensive performance in a big win last night, beating BYU 113-88. The Crimson Tide broke the 35-year-old March Madness record for three-pointers with 25 of them. Mark Sears scored 30 of his 34 points only on threes. Florida joins them in the Elite Eight with an 87-71 win over Maryland. The Gators' backcourt of Will Richard, Elijah Martin, and Walter Clayton combined for 42 points. Duke beats Arizona 100-93, setting up an East Regional final with Alabama. And 10-seed Arkansas couldn't hold on to a 16-point lead in the second half, falling 85-83 to Texas Tech in overtime. The Gators and Red Raiders will play in the West Regional final. Tonight, 2-seed Tennessee takes on 3-seed Kentucky in the Midwest Regional semifinal in Indy. The Vols are playing in their third straight Sweet 16 and their first for the first time in program history. Kentucky is there for the first time since 2019. Tip-off is scheduled for 6:39, which you can hear right here, courtesy of the Vol Network. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. RKW brewed by Scooters Coffee, live from Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply, 145 Old Pleasant Grove Road, right off North Mount Juliet Road here in the heart of lovely Mount Juliet. You can join us for Ferris Days, open house at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply at locations throughout Middle Tennessee. We are here in Mount Juliet. The Buck Rising Show takes over in a couple of hours in Brentwood. Cover 2 with Blaine and Zach, plus 3HL at the newest location in the borough. We are here lounging in these very comfortable, very spacious, and very technologically advanced lawnmowers hosting the show this morning. You can watch us on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch to see us in our new studio setup, which is sitting in lawnmowers this morning.
So
Look
comfy.
at you still with your legs crossed and everything.
I know.
could
That's how I like to
never do
sit.
that right now. I do too, but not in this tight space right here. It's like it's enough room, but not enough for a leg crossing.
A little
Okay,
different
well,
for you
I'm
that's
sorry.
6 at 6 foot.
A little bit
7.
different for me, KK. That's what I'm saying.
I'm
Look,
6'2".
Kayla's legs are all stretched out right
No,
now. She's
this is the first
chilling.
time I've been able. I feel like I'm not like, you know what, when you're on a plane,
Yeah.
and your legs just can never be comfortable. I feel like this is how planes
That's
should
my
be.
life, Kayla. That's
I
my life
know.
right
I
now.
was going to say.
If it's uncomfortable for me, I can't imagine for you guys.
Gosh. Well, that's why points matter. on
Yeah,
flight.
right. First class
Upgrade,
matters.
right. Upgrade it. Absolutely.
No,
We
but
have,
it's a cool setup.
We have had our Scooters Coffee this morning right down the road. The Scooter Doodle Blend is still treating me right.
Right.
And the waffle breakfast sandwich, the warm cinnamon roll. It's been a good morning here in lovely Mount Juliet. Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, quarterbacks coach. Darrell Colbert is going to join us coming up in 15 minutes. We're looking forward to that as we get the latest out of Cam Ward's pro day on the day that Cam Ward is reportedly working out for the Titans today. So interested. I'll see if we can get any nuggets on what they're working on.
I know. I
Today as
actually
well.
wanted to ask him if
Yeah.
he helps prepare for things like this, you know, when it comes to private workouts, what
for
they
sure.
do. So
No doubt.
I'm looking forward to that one.
25 threes last night for Alabama, 113-88 over BYU. Florida books their ticket to the to the Elite Eight as well. Which win was most impressive, guys, out of the four last night in the NCAA tournament?
Most impressive, it'd have to be Texas Tech, like closing it out in the night hour like that. But I'll be completely honest with you. I thought, and maybe it was their opponent, but the Alabama game, I felt like was just, we hadn't seen that happen in March Madness in a while. Like that shooting display in which they put it on for a guy, Mark Sears, that absolutely needed to get out of a rut that he was in. Watching them and their coach, Nate Oates, and momentum is built off of that type of win last night. Albeit, I mean, they gave up 88 points themselves. Like they had to score that many points, but the performance I thought was good. And just again, looking at the game last night, Hubs brought it up too, like the Duke Arizona game, the physicality of it. But all in all, most impressive to me was Alabama, and it's because of the offense that they had and the way that guards just lit it up, although it might not be real life for a very long time.
Yeah, no, that was first of all, it was a fun game to watch. Like any high scoring game, obviously is fun to watch. You do need defense though sometimes, and that's what will be interesting when they take on Duke next. You could say Duke as well, but I'll go with the Florida Gators. I know the first half didn't look great in terms of what they were doing. They were turning the ball over, but it's just so impressive. Like they didn't have Condon for much of the first half. He came back, but for them to be able to out rebound Maryland 42-20, like that was incredible, just working the boards in that game. And I just think the depth again shows with this Florida team. Like down the stretch, it truly does matter for them to take away and move away from the game. Yeah. Like that fourth quarter of it. It's pretty much why Florida is one of the teams that can win it all, I think.
Tonight in the Sweet 16, of course, you have Tennessee taking on Kentucky. Auburn and Michigan is going to be really interesting because Michigan's 2 7-footers, and specifically Vlad Golden, matching up with Janai Broome is going to be really fun to watch because Ryan Kalkbrenner of Creighton was able to really fluster Janai Broome in a way that not a lot of big men have been able to this season. Now, granted, Kalkbrenner is a Defensive Player of the Year finalist, along with Jemai Meshack and Zakai Ziegler. So he might be the Defensive Player of the Year this year in all of college basketball. It should be Meshack. But I'm interested to see how those two bigs match up against Auburn and if they can stay out of foul trouble against Janai Broome, because they're a little bit old school in that they will put 3 guards and 2 big men out there. I think Auburn's backcourt is going to be good enough to just shoot over those guys and make them run a little bit, and I don't think Auburn will have any issue with Michigan tonight.
You don't? Even with the bigs?
I don't, because I think their guards are so good.
Okay, yeah.
And you play that style, A, you better stay out of foul trouble, and B, Auburn can just make you run around a bunch, tire you out, and shoot over you. And so there's going to have to be adjustments made by Dusty May, and he's got former Auburn point guard Trey Donaldson at his disposal as well. So a little bit of a revenge game for him going up against his former team. But those Michigan guards are going to have to play as well as they have all season in order to upset Auburn.
They will, and that's where the advantage goes to that point. It's definitely to Auburn.
And I think I read, too, that Trey Donaldson has quite familiarity with Bruce Pearl in terms of Michigan's player, in terms of playing against a team that he knows very well.
Yeah.
It's always fun for those storylines, too. I feel like a lot of people end up playing for Pearl or know Pearl through the basketball scene. There's always like a chip on these teams' shoulders when it comes to Bruce Pearl and his Auburn teams. But I think Auburn just has so much talent. And I'm sorry, you've been tested enough during the regular season with SEC play. If you don't get to the Elite Eight with that talent and Jemai Broome, I just think that that's a big loss for Auburn as a program.
And he played there, Trey Donaldson.
Yeah,
that's what I just said. Yeah, he former Auburn point guard. So him and Aiden Holloway both get revenge game opportunities. But it'll be really interesting. Ole Miss, Michigan State starts us off at 6:09. Tennessee, Kentucky. Then Auburn, Michigan in the South region at 8:39, and Purdue, Houston.
Purdue Houston.
Be very interesting.
This Auburn Michigan game for me. I also wonder what kind of game will Janai Broome play too. Like, will he be outside the paint and try to like drive and make a bucket instead of playing in the post the way he's done in SEC play? Like, you've seen him in SEC play like body guys in the paint with his back against the rim.
Totally.
And with those 2 7-footers that they have, or the 2 bigs they have in Michigan with Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf, like, how will he attack them? I think it has to be a part of his athleticism.
Totally.
Again, with the guard play that Auburn has, they have the ability to improv big time.
I totally agree. I think that's the adjustment you'll probably see Auburn make is getting him the ball at the top of the key and letting him get downhill. Yeah.
I was going to go back to Ole Miss real quick. That's like the surpriser for me out of the SEC. I think there's a lot of teams that we could have said, oh, we're surprised maybe they've gone this far, Arkansas being one of those. But I think Ole Miss is the team for me that not a lot of people have even talked about. But Michigan State, sneaky. Izzo is always going to try to make a run for things, and I feel like this Michigan State team hasn't been talked about as much throughout this tournament.
Definitely not in this part of the country.
No.
No.
I've got them in my national title game.
Do you really?
I've got them beating Auburn.
Okay.
Michigan
State is a juggernaut defensively.
Yeah.
They crept up on the year. They had no fanfare at the beginning of the season.
They were not supposed to be great. This time of year,
He turns it on.
February, Izzo, April.
February Izzo.
Yep.
January, February, Izzo, April. He
So good.
consistently has his teams playing at their best.
Ace
Tom
to
Izzo this time of
Izzo.
year. And Bruce Pearl doesn't.
And that's a fact.
So
But Bruce's this type of matchup is where he gets philosophical. You'll see Bruce get animated in matchups like this, and the only reason I bring
this time
up
of year,
like
he's always animated.
Janai Broom like being a part of it, like as far as the ball going through him, is because if he gets another National Player of the Year, like or he gets the National Player of the Year, like that's the tip of the cap for the continuation of what Bruce has built and why he's such a good coach.
He need to win a natty.
Bruce Pearl, yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, he's finally back in the second weekend for the first time since he won the, went to the Final Four back in 2019.
Yeah.
But going to be interesting. That Michigan State game will be really fun, though. The guards for Michigan State, Jay Adkins, Trey Holloman, Jeremy Fears, and Frankie Fiddler, which sounds like a Batman villain. A lot of really good guards playing in that game. And obviously Padula for Ole Miss, the headliner with Malik Dia, the local product, and Jamin Brakefield, who sung the Vols a few weeks ago down in Oxford. So there's a lot of talent on that floor. And I don't know, you never count out Chris Beer this time of year either.
Nope.
You don't.
From Michigan State and Ole Miss. So should be a fun one. And then Purdue, Houston, they'll probably just beat each other up, honestly.
That's what I was
I think we
thinking.
feel
Two teams that have a major weakness, and they're on opposite sides. So Purdue doesn't play defense. Houston has lulls on offense from time to time. They're better on offense, though, this year than they usually are, is the thing on Houston. I think Houston will beat up Purdue. I think they'll win that one.
They'll get them too.
What
Purdue
you say
is
about
due.
Purdue, Will, in terms of they have like the most seniors returning or something?
I did not say that.
You mentioned-
Starters.
Was it
There's bad
starters?
defense. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, it was something this week. He had
Same
mentioned.
starters, I think, is what it was.
That's
Yeah,
what it was.
returning
Yeah,
players.
returning
was
players.
Purdue. Yeah.
Yep, that's what it was.
Did I don't think I said that.
We
Yeah,
had a quiz
we had
you
a-
had earlier this week about one team that had all original
All the-
starters.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, that
yeah.
just means they all started there at the school.
Yeah,
Right.
That's what we were getting.
Yeah,
was
yeah.
something-
Their
some little-
starting five are not transfers. That
Exact-
doesn't
there
mean
we
they're
go.
any
There we
good.
go. Yeah.
But it just means their starting five started there. Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer, the ones you've heard of from last year, and Trey Kaufman-Wren. But Purdue 55th in defensive efficiency. Yeah. So I think they're due for a bad defensive game. I think Houston is going to absolutely dominate them inside.
Your sports subtle disrespect is top tier. Just
What do you mean?
No, usually like
I would not use
We're
the
giving
word
out points
subtle.
of like culture,
what are
and
you-
having
what are
the
you talking
ability
about?
to just be good. Was like it doesn't mean they're any good.
What? It doesn't. What? Like just
it's
because
sports. I'm
just
not
because
com-
Grant Hurst started at Tennessee doesn't mean he's great. Respectfully to Grant Hurst. Actually, he did even start at Tennessee. Just because Colin Coyne started at Tennessee doesn't mean he's a great player.
I'm with you on it. It's just very
Like,
matter
like
of
it
fact,
is.
and I enjoy it. Is what I'm not saying this as a bad thing.
That's why I'm in the right line of
I'm
work.
saying this is sports. This is what you do with
That's
this.
why I'm in the
man.
right line of work. No doubt. Coming up next, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders' private quarterback coach, Darrell Colbert, joins us after this.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
RKW Brew by Scooters Coffee continues this morning on 104.5 The Zone as we broadcast live from Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply here in Mount Juliet. With Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson, I'm Will Bowling. Pleased to be joined this morning by the man who is training potentially the next quarterback of the Tennessee Titans. He is the quarterback trainer for Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. Darrell Colbert, kind enough to give us a few minutes this morning. Darrell, what's going on? How are you?
Man, good morning to y'all. All is well, man. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you making time for us. Hey, what has it been like training two guys that have kind of been in competition a little bit, but also have been helping each other through this process in Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders?
Man, it's been a blessing. It's been fun. With those guys, it's been easy, with the relationship that they've been having for the last, about 4 years now. Just a real genuine relationship. So it's been fun, man, just to go through this process together. They're kind of in the same boat, talking to a lot of the same teams, so kind of know what to expect. If one goes in a little earlier, the other one, he'll give the other one some nuggets on, how things went and all that type of stuff. So they both want to see each other win. So it makes my job a lot easier.
Darrell, what do you like about the performance Cam had at Miami Pro Day? I know a lot of Titans fans were locked into that. Just what did you see down there on the field, and what did you like the most about it?
Man, I think it went really well. I think the biggest thing was, he just wanted to showcase his receivers. In the position that he's in, he understands it. That's why he ended up not throwing at the combine and waiting until the pro day so he can get all those eyes and, all the live streams on the pro day for his opportunity for his guys. Few throws we want back, a couple that he missed. But, that just goes to show the type of guy that he is. He had missed the out route. The ball slipped out his hand going to the right one time. And before I could even call out the next route, he had told the receiver, Sam, hey, bring it back. Let's go ahead and run it again. And, he went on and said that after the workout that, it's just like practice. This was like practice for us. If I miss a throw, we get it right back. If the receiver drops the ball or runs the wrong route, we get it right back. So it was kind of just to be able to show everybody all the throws he can make, throw it live, with everybody there. So it was good, man. Of course, with the couple misses that we had, probably about 2 or 3 misses that we had, of course he would want that back and wouldn't give himself a perfect score. But I think he went really well.
Darrell Colbert of Select Quarterback Athletes founded that, of course, is working with Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward right now as they prepare for the NFL draft. Darrell, when it comes to the storylines leading up to this draft, you hear a lot of, these quarterbacks aren't as highly rated as last year's class, so on and so forth. You've watched these two guys. You've been helping these two guys. Why do you say that should not be a thing attached to them?
Yeah, I think starting with Cam, I think if he was at Miami last year, I think he would have been kind of in the same boat that he's in right now, pertaining to the draft. I think it was just, he was playing at Wazoo. Nobody was staying up to 11 p.m. to watch the game. So nobody really knew much about him. But if you go back and look at the film from Wazoo, even when he was at UIW, it's a lot of the same stuff that he's doing when he was at Miami this year. The highlights are the same. The numbers are the same. So it's the same stuff that he was doing in Miami. He's just at a bigger market. And I think he, if that happens, I think he's in a good spot. And then even with Shedeur, man, they were talking about Shedeur, especially early on in the season when they were rolling last year about, already being a top 10, top 15 pick. So those, and, the numbers that he had while being sacked over 50 times, I think that speaks volume about him and, what could have happened for him last year. And I think a lot of the guys that were making the decisions, they saw that. So I think, Shedeur wanted to come back for sure for this last year, but I think both of those guys in certain situations could have been really well off last year and the year before in the draft.
Darrell Colbert joined us this morning on RKW. First of all, your stuff. You called it Wazoo as a Washington State grad. Very glad that you used Wazoo there. Darrell, when it comes to Cam Ward, he's reportedly having a private workout with the Titans today. When you prepare a quarterback for something like that, what are you preparing them to see? I
think it's just we stay true to what we've been doing. Of course, throughout throughout the whole draft process with training for pro day, but we're also doing, different drills and stuff that they could possibly see at these privates. The privates are just another I call it homework for the teams to be able to, just really dive in and get hands-on with the guys, because the teams run the workouts. So, you never know what they might throw at you. They might throw something crazy at you just to see how you respond. So, at times we may change up, they might want your stance and when you're getting the shotgun snap to be different. So we might change that up and kind of work on that just so he's familiar with a lot of those things. But like I say, they run it. So, we just prepare them for, all the little things that they may come across. But, at the end of the day, these guys are in this position for a reason, so they can handle anything that's thrown at them.
Darrell Colbert, the quarterback coach for Shedeur Sanders, and Cam Ward is with us this morning, speaking about their pre-draft workouts and training. Darrell, when you inherited Cam Ward specifically, man, what did he come to you and ask you to help him fix? Or what did you see that you felt like, okay, we need to tweak this as far as this game is concerned?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things, I tell the story all the time. When I first got with Cam, I watched, especially college guys, I watched their film. And I knew, how he played. It was after his first spring season at UIW. And, all the sidearm stuff, just a lot of stuff, his little wind up, a lot of things. And when I first worked with him, I'm like, okay, cool, we got some things we need to change up. But something told me to go back and just watch his film, watch his tape. And so I went and did that. I'm like, oh, well, man, we're not going to change none of this stuff because this is who he is. This is what makes him him. This is what makes him special. So we ended up not changing those things, but we had a talk, and I was like, man, I'm not going to change your release, not going to change any of this stuff, but we want to perfect it. So we're going to, find ways to take out all the wasted movement. So what you're doing, it can be the best of your ability. So I think that's kind of where we met at. And I think that helped him, because I feel like maybe a lot of places that he had went, people were trying to, change him and be like, hey, you need to throw like the traditional thrower, but that's not who he is, and you can't make, everybody doesn't throw the same. So that's what made him special, and I think that's what made our relationship special, or our getting it going on the right foot, I would say. So as we went on through the years, it was just, watching game film, seeing what we need to focus on, shortening up stride, base, being more rotational, a lot of little things, and then we just worked together with it, and it's led us to where we are now.
Darrell Colbert, Cam Ward, and Shedeur Sanders, quarterback coach, with us this morning. If you guys are just tuning in, they're also on this side. So we were having this conversation about quarterbacks yesterday, and we're speaking about sometimes you meet players, any sport, and they just have that winner's gene. And it seems that Cam Ward has that in him. And I bring that up for this case right here as it pertains to being number one overall, being selected number one overall by the Titans. And there's understanding that going number one is a privilege, it's an honor, and everybody wants that, but most times the teams are bad. Have you had conversation with him about what it means to walk into a franchise and having to elevate not only yourself, your play, but everybody else around you, and including helping the defense? What have those conversations been like, Darrell, as you've had time to sit down with those guys outside of training and them understand the weight of this responsibility more than anything?
Yeah, I think for both of those guys, I think one, you talk about, of course, college is different than the NFL, but both of those guys have been into multiple college programs and turned the programs around. Changing the programs around, winning championships, winning records, all those different things. So they understand what it takes. Of course, at the NFL, you got to do it at a different level, of course, but, they understand what it takes and the grind it is, and, what you have to do, the time that has to be put in, and all those different things. And, of course, one of the biggest things we've done, especially with the top three teams and the quarterback-needy teams, is we watch their film. So we see that, a lot of these teams, especially in the top three, man, they're just a couple players away, They have guys, especially with Tennessee in general, all the offensive linemen that they went out and got this year, the weapons that they have outside, with Tony Pollard in the back, a lot of different things. So they have the pieces to, go win. So they understand that, and then with Coach Cal calling the plays, I think it fits both of those guys really well. So I think it's just more so they understand it. They understand what it's going to take to come in, especially as a rookie, and win over the team and put in the work, and they're willing to do that. So they understand what situations they're going into. But I think these situations, for the teams that are quarterback needy are a lot better than some quarterback needy teams in the draft in the previous years. I think, it's a good opportunity to come in and win a lot faster than people may think.
QB coach Darrell Colbert, our guest. Darrell, when you have a pro day like that in Miami and Mike Borgonzi, Brian Callahan representing the Titans down there leading into a workout, are they talking with you about some things they would like to see Cam and or Shedeur work on? And what are some of those things maybe that you think the Titans would like to see Cam Ward progress in as he moves forward through this draft process?
No, it wasn't much of that. I think they were just, I think a lot of times they, especially a lot of these coaches, they just let you do your thing. If it's something dramatic that they may need to see, then of course they'll talk about that. But the thing about these guys, especially with Cam, with his pro day, Cam had 5 years of film. He's put a lot of ball out there, a lot of throws out there, a lot of movement. I think the biggest thing was just the under center stuff, of course, moving to the NFL. So that's why we did quite a bit of that stuff. But other than that, man, it wasn't a lot. Our most of our pro day script was based off of what the receivers wanted to show, because like I say, Cam has a lot of film, and not a lot has been asked about his arm talent, his throws down the field, his quick game. A lot of stuff hasn't been asked about it. So it wasn't much that we needed to really show. Of course, action stuff and under center stuff, like I said, but it wasn't a lot that teams were just asking, hey man, we need to see this, we would like to see a lot of this. So it wasn't a lot of that stuff. And then just going through the process up until the draft, I think it's more so just prepare to play football now, because now they'll be going into rookie minicamp and all that stuff. So now it's just getting back into the football mode instead of just throwing routes on air.
Darrell, with both of these quarterbacks, what is the media, or what about the national conversation is wrong? Are there any misconceptions we have about Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders that you, watching them privately and coaching them, think are misconceptions?
I think when you start with Cam, you talk about leading up into not leading up, but the Pop-Tart Bowl, when people say he quit on his team and stuff like that. But, then you have his head coach come out and say that, Cam was only supposed to play a quarter of that game because we wanted to see, with our backup quarterback, was he our future? But then ended up, I think the game was kind of close at the first quarter. So Cam was like, man, I want to at least go to the half and try to get us the lead, or, whatever it may be. So, just dealing with that, especially early on in the draft process. And then, with Shedeur, you hear something new every day. The stuff that comes out with the anonymous people, or, just with the social media stuff. But then you talk to the people who are actually making the decisions, the coaches, the GMs and stuff, and none of those guys have any bad things to say about him. Everybody actually loves him. Like, it's a thing where, you hear a lot, especially coming out of the combine, you hear a lot from a lot of these coaches and GMs saying that, oh man, he was amazing. Just to sit down and get to talk to him, his personality, the type of guy that he is, like it's been nothing but good stuff. So a lot of that stuff is not true. Majority of that stuff is not true at all. But I think the biggest thing with those two guys, they don't care. I think, and I honestly can say that, like, a lot of people, that stuff bothers them, but like literally they don't care at all. Like, it's like, oh, okay, well, let them talk about it. Like, I'm going back to work and doing my thing. Like it doesn't faze them. They don't give it any mind. Half of the time they don't even know what's going on unless somebody brings it up when we're in person or something like that. So, and that just goes to show you just the type of guys they are. And I think that's just their maturity level of how much ball they played, how they've been raised, and just going through the process throughout college and high school and different things. So that's just the type of guys that they are.
Yeah, great trait to have if you want to be a franchise quarterback, at least one of those. Darrell Colbert, founder of Select Quarterback Athletics, joining us this morning. He's working with Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. So there has also been talk more local here in terms of Brian Callahan and his scheme, obviously known for working with Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. A lot of people saying, Cam Ward doesn't fit his scheme. Please tell the listeners why that is more so a myth in saying that type of thing, as it should always be the head coach that can work with any quarterback and change the scheme around them, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think, that's why I hope that they keep the number one pick. And, I think I would love for both of those guys to go to that system. With Coach Cal, offensive-minded, guy. You've seen what he did with Joe. So with both of those guys, especially with these guys, I think kind of their calm demeanor is, and their understanding of football and their understanding of defenses is, very similar to what he had with Joe. So I think, even when they're in their conversations in private, when we talk about it, just when they're talking ball, it's good stuff, and they're both on the same page. Like I said, we watched a lot of, Titans film throughout the draft process, and just, them going in and asking questions about some stuff that we might have saw, and him giving good answers, and, about, hey, why they did this, and then asking them, okay, cool, what have you have done here in this situation? So, man, I would hope, that, like I said, I would hope both of them could go into that situation, because, I think it's going to be really good for what he does on offense. And, of course, with any coach, they're always really good coaches, and that's why he's in the situation that he's in. They're always going to adapt to what their quarterback can do and what their team can do, what's best for the team. It's not just about their system. Of course, you can tweak that around at all times. But I think even, last year when they had quarterback changes, you could see that, he changed around the offense, got into different personnels and different things like that. So I think that won't be a problem at all. I'm actually that's why I say I hope that they keep that pick so one of those guys can play in that system.
No doubt about it. As far as playing in that system, what he did with Miami this year, you think about the history of Miami quarterbacks, it hasn't been that deep as far as guys that have excelled there. He has. And he made guys around him look better, too. And I want to go specifically to the offensive line in the sense of his ability to sit back and improv. If that's something that you've spoken to him also, it's like, hey, the next level, you may not have this amount of time, although you loved it, and the Titans have made moves to have the protection way better than it has been last year. How has that conversation been that, hey, sometimes losing the battle isn't the entire war sometimes as far as getting rid of the ball?
Man, I think it's just his football instincts. I think he said it one time. Somebody came out and said that he held the ball, like he had the longest hold the ball rate or something. But his thing was, why am I getting rid of the ball if nobody's getting back there and my receivers aren't open yet? Like if I could sit here and if I have the time to sit here for 3, 4, or 5 seconds and nobody's open and I can wait till somebody gets open, why not do that? So I think, that's what if you go and look at a lot of the film, it wasn't just that he was holding the ball and ended up in sacks. It was more so he was just holding the ball because they had a great pocket. There's a lot of times you get to see, you see a couple plays, him just literally standing flat-foot in the pocket because no one's around him. So I think it's just more so about the situation. Of course, if he's getting pressure, he understands. If he makes a guy miss and nothing's there, he's gonna get the ball out. Of course, not trying to force any plays to happen if it's not there. But when it comes to that, he understands it. He understands playing on rhythm, playing on time, especially at the NFL level. A lot of things have to change from that standpoint, but he has the feel for it. If if he feels like he's holding the ball too long, or if it's just he doesn't have to get rid of the ball because the O-line is good, and that's hopefully whatever situation he goes into, that's how it'll be again.
No doubt.
Darrell Colbert has been our guest, the quarterback trainer for both Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, providing us some great insight here this morning. Darrell, this has been awesome, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No, for sure. I appreciate you guys having me, man. Hopefully I'll get to run into you guys in the football season this year.
No doubt.
Absolutely right. We'll do it again.
Darrell.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.
All right, sounds good.
All right, there's Darrell Colbert with us here this morning talking about Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. Lots of insight there. We can react to the rest of the show as well. And coming up next here on RKW. RKW brewed by Scooters Coffee, live from Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply in Mount Juliet this morning. Crew is all here. Great stuff with Darrell Colbert, the quarterback's coach for Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. If you missed that, hit the Ramon Kalen Will podcast. Check it out wherever you download podcasts, and we'll react more to that coming up here at the top of the next hour. We are joined, though, here live from Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply by our guy, Trey Hartsook. Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply here. Trey, what's up, man? Good to see you.
Hey, what's up, Will? Thank y'all for coming out, man.
Absolutely.
Nice
Don't be camera shy now, man.
We're glad to be here.
Get in the mix here.
Where's it at?
CJ, we need to pay. This is the star of the show.
I'm kidding.
You can sit here on
This
the
is
end of
the
all
hour.
these, yeah.
I'll get up here with you, Ramon.
I love it. These
Captain Morgan
These are
stand.
awesome.
Right?
You like that?
Ferris Days going on here. We are at every, we're all over the place here with the Zone today. We're here in Mount Juliet. Afternoon shows are in Murfreesboro. Buck's coming down in Brentwood. One of the great things, Trey, about Dickens Turf Landscape Supply, you guys are everywhere around Middle Tennessee.
It really helps us, Will. I mean, when you look at kind of the Middle Tennessee area and how it's growing so much, so rapidly, we've really put our foothold right around the conveniency of Nashville. So if you live anywhere, close to Nashville, you can get to a Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply pretty quickly. And we really think that's helped us because there's so many homeowners in Nashville that want to do it themselves, want their yard to look good. It's a hobby for most guys. And so we really think that being close to Nashville in and around has really helped us a ton.
I love it. Ferris Day is going on today. What can you tell us about this big machine that Ramon's sitting on over here?
Yeah. Ramon is on an IS 800X.
Nice.
So we're going to sell this to him here in just a minute. So you're going to have to get a different one than the one that he's sitting on. But I mean, Ferris is such a good brand. And I'll tell you why. With them, it's always research and development. Every year, it seems like they're improving a model, changing an engine SKU to get the most performance they can out of these machines. And as you know, you can go anywhere and buy a lawnmower. Any box store you go into, any small town hardware store selling machines. But that's why at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply, when you come in and you get a Ferris, the biggest thing about these is you look back here in this parts room, a ton of parts to fix this machine, and for whatever reason it breaks. And Ferris has been a trusted. You're not going to have a ton of issues out of it, but God forbid you do. It doesn't take long at all, and we can get you in and out and get you fixed up pretty quick.
Yeah, you guys up in Hendersonville where I am. Also, my brother-in-law frequents you guys, just so you know, too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the family.
How has it been, though, being in lawn care? Where did that passion come from for you? Because, again, was it like in high school? I know I cut my high school yard and everything, or my high school field. What got you guys into it to be this passionate about it?
Well, man, I think with personally, it was for sure my grandfather. Like, my grandfather's a big yard guy, and growing up, he would drag me along. I'm picking up sticks. I'm doing this kind of stuff. So it just came natural. Yeah. But as far as Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply goes, we actually started one location, very small, man named Paul Dickens, selling chemicals. And Drew was his right-hand man. And so to see, because like Paul's daughter will come in to our store sometimes, and she'll just talk about just the growth. Yeah. Right, like it's number one, it being Nashville being a great area, and then number two, just moves to get conveniently located around any popular part of Middle Tennessee where you're easy to get to. And I think the passion too is like just seeing people that come in that are just dads, right, like us, man, and they really just enjoy taking care of the yard because it's a pride thing.
It is.
It's a pride thing.
Doubt.
And so whenever you get pride in something, we see the same guys, man. It's almost like an addiction to these guys.
That's right.
They're like, dude, we got to get this thing. It's got to be the nicest it can possibly be. And man, it really feels good because you see guys that start, man, and their lawns look terrible. They look like that parking lot, bro.
They're not competitive about it at all once they start working on it,
dude,
I'm sure.
And they know nothing about what they're doing. They're just like, man, I want to get started. Yep. And then they come in and we add a little knowledge. We put them on that turf plan I talk so much about. Yeah. Dude, in 3 years, they're coming in telling us what they need. No doubt. They're telling us the issues they have. And then, they get on the up and up pretty quick, man. And then just from there, they just take off, and it looks amazing.
It's funny how quick I'll judge somebody's yard. Just
quick, bro.
I'm talking about I will judge the hell out of somebody's yard, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, and the thing is, too, a lot of people get intimidated by it because they'll drive by a nice lawn and kind of be like, that's got to be extremely hard. right?
Yeah.
And I think, and it is. It takes time. It's like anything else. Hey, it's like anything else in life, man. It is what you put into it, bro.
It is.
So if you put the time into it and put the stuff down, it'll look good. But that's like the door we always try to open is like, if you want to have a really good lawn, just come in, because we got there's great guys here at Mount Juliet. There's great scattered around the company, man. Great turf guys that for them, it's very easy to get a residential lawn.
Yeah.
Just give you what you need, man, so it can look really good.
What else do you guys offer? We talked about the mowers. We talked about some of the lawn care. What's some other things that people can come in here, maybe pick up in terms of just a in and out situation?
Well, a ton of equipment mainly, and then thank you, Becky.
Becky is making sure the mic is in the right spot.
The equipment is the big thing, and then obviously the chemicals. But I will say something that's really neat that we have that kind of sets us apart as well is our service department.
Yeah.
So like we have commercial guys come in all the time, because those guys, time is money for them. So they can't be down long. They're feeding their families mowing grass. So something that we really try to do is if a commercial guy comes in a bind and he's got a bent blade or he's got a flat tire, if there's any way possible that we can get him fixed up quick, we try to do that by any means. We try to get those guys out and get them back cutting. So I will say something that's kind of slept on a little bit in my advertisement that I do is our service department.
Nice.
We don't really praise those guys enough because they're really good.
Yeah.
You don't realize how much the blades matter as far as the sharpness of it,
everything,
too.
bro.
No
Yeah,
doubt.
everything. And a lot of guys also can't figure out if I continue to hit rocks while my blades are not sharp.
Part of that is their fault
We're
as
trying to
well.
hit home with that, and we can't get it through. So.
I love it. Trey, last question for you. Do the Vols get it done tonight against Kentucky?
As you hold that Kentucky blue mic.
I know.
Man,
Uh-oh.
that's a bad omen.
Hey, Tennessee big tonight.
Let's go.
Tennessee
Come
big
on.
tonight. Yeah,
Come
big
on,
tonight.
Trey.
Yeah,
Talk
can't do
to
it 3
me.
times, man. Hey, 2 is a fluke anyways.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. He is Trey Hartsook, Dickens Turf
Don't
Landscape
trash
Supply.
talk,
We're here
Trey.
about Juliet. We will be broadcasting live from different locations throughout the day. Trey, thank you so much for having us out here, man.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank y'all for coming.
Yes, sir. There's Trey Hartsook. We start hour 4 of the show next. Ron Slay coming up at 9:20. In our reaction to what quarterbacks coach Darrell Colbert said about his pupils, Cam Ward and Shador Sanders. We'll do that next. Hey, it's Will Bowling for Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. That's where we are today in Mount Juliet on RKW. Talking about Ferris Days. Ferris Commercial Mowers, they set the bars. The first and only manufacturer to integrate suspension into their mowers with racing-inspired, patented full suspension and integrated cutting decks. You can go faster, cut better, and not get beat up. Experience that Ferris difference today at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply during Ferris Days going on now, and take advantage of the best financing and prices of the year. You can join us, 104.5 The Zone, today, all day at different locations at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply, where Ferris reps will be on location with the knowledgeable team at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply to get you set up for spring. We're here at Mount Juliet for another hour. Buck and Lucas will be at Brentwood Mower, 130 Friarson Street and Brentwood until 1 o'clock. Then cover 2 with Blaine and Zach and 3HL 1402 Northwest Broad Street in the borough. They will close out the day there. That's Ferris. Experience suspension. Unlock everything Ferris has to offer at Ferris Days, only at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. Good morning for the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Will Bowling. SI.com's Albert Breer confirming that the Tennessee Titans are working out Miami quarterback Cam Ward privately at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park today. He adds that Coach Brian Callahan, GM Mike Borgonzi, President of Football Operations Chad Brinker, and Assistant GM Dave Ziegler, Nick Holtz, and Bo Hardigree are all on the trip. Breer writes, this is a big final piece of the process. Tonight, the process of the NCAA tournament continues in Indianapolis for the second-seeded Tennessee. They take on 3-seed Kentucky in their third straight Sweet 16 for the Vols. That's a program record. It's Kentucky's first Sweet 16 since 2019. Tip-off at 6:39 right here, courtesy of the Vol Network on 104.5 The Zone. Alabama beats BYU 113-88 last night, breaking a 35-year-old March Madness record. The Tide made 25 three-pointers. Mark Sears had 10 of them, scoring 34 points. Florida joins them in the Elite Eight with an 87-71 win over Maryland. The backcourt trio of Will Richard, Elijah Martin, and Walter Clayton combined for 42 points. So it will be Duke and Alabama in one Elite Eight matchup on Saturday, followed by Texas Tech taking on Florida for a chance to go to the Final Four. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. RKW brewed by Scooters Coffee, broadcasting live from Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply in Mount Juliet. Scooters Coffee's got locations everywhere around Middle Tennessee. One of them, we can almost throw a rock and hit. Just don't let that rock hit the blade on your mower. Then you're going to be bad to see the service department at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supplier. Scooters is in White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood. Download the Scooters Coffee mobile app today to order ahead and save $2 off your first mobile order. I've still got about a third cup of Scooter Doodle left in this Scooters Coffee cup right below me. We are sitting on mowers this morning.
There we are.
If you're just waking up and sleeping in because you're watching the Sweet 16 late last night, we were there with you. We're suffering for the Lord this morning, but that's all right. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and Will Bowling. Cam Ward working out with the Titans today. Albert Breer saying the full crew is there watching him with a very watchful eye. Perhaps the final interview in the process for Cam Ward to potentially become the next quarterback of your Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, he said big final piece of the process, in which it is indeed. They've done a lot of scouting of him, whether it be a top 30 visit that they had him in for, most recently Pro Day, now that private workout. And we just spoke at the 820 segment with his private quarterback coach, Darrell Colbert, who also works with Shedeur Sanders. And I asked him just about, is there anything you can prepare, your guys for when it comes to a private workout? And of course, they don't know what the Titans are going to want to see from Cam Ward. Obviously, that's their own script, right? But he does feel like he prepares his guys as much as possible for anything that they could kind of throw his way. But what I took out of that, guys, is he is so confident in Cam Ward and his ability to kind of just make decisions from the get-go, make decisions in big moments. I think that's what I took from him, and that all comes from the experience that he's had playing football.
Definitely. Franchise changer, man. That's what you're looking for with a guy like him at that pick right there. Like you said, Kayla, he spoke very highly of him in the sense of it wasn't just his skill set. It was the mental part of it, too, that he's also helped cultivating with Cam Ward and Shedeur also. It felt I did after the end, just like I didn't ask much about Shedeur. But considering where the Titans are in that situation right now and what they need and what he can do for this franchise, Cam definitely is the guy at that pick, the way most people rate him also. But it's good to hear him give a breakdown of him for a guy that can mean, this is a big pick. It's a huge pick.
It's huge.
It definitely is. I liked what Darrell Colbert said about, I watched this film. I thought maybe there's things we need to fix. Then I watched it again and thought, no, let's let Cam be Cam. And that's the same conversation we're going to have here this offseason once he is drafted, assuming that is the pick and nothing crazy happens. How do you let Cam be Cam while elevating him out of some of his worst moments? That's the big question mark for me going through this process. But I thought Darrell Colbert was great.
Yeah.
A lot of interesting things about Cam the quarterback and Cam the person.
He seemed to think, too, I like this part of it, too. I know we're still kind of question marking Brian Callahan in his ability to work with different types of quarterbacks. He said he actually encouraged by the fact that he could go number 1 overall to the Tennessee Titans and feels Brian Callahan can work him into that system and vice versa, work with Cam, on what he needs as well. That gave me a little bit more of a vote of confidence because Darrell Colbert has probably talked a lot with Callahan and seen what Callahan has done.
For sure, man. It was thorough, too. I was waiting on Will to tee us up on, what I took mostly from it. It was the comment about not changing who he is, just refining it. Everybody's body is different. Everybody's mindset is different. Your movements are different, too. And some coaches, man, I'll be quite honest with you, it's good to have a baseline of what you want out of a position, whether that be DN, your technique that you're teaching, linebackers, how they drop back or how they press the line of scrimmage, or just listen to Darrell Colbert speak about Cam Ward. His style is his style. His mechanics is his mechanics. As long as it's not causing him shoulder injuries, UCL injuries, and stuff like that, because he does throw the football, just refine it. Take away some of the wasted movement that a guy like him may have in it, but let him be him. A lot of time coaches want to make guys into how they see them, and you fail those dudes. I bring up this conversation because it was brought to us on the radio. Just the way Wesley Warrior spoke about the way Vrabel critique guys for not being tough or not tackling a certain way. No. Is he productive? Yes. Well, leave it alone. Just refine it and watch the production take off the way you need it. So I thought that was unique in him saying, yes, he throws with a sidearm. Yes, it's quick. And, his arm slot may not be the way you want it. But that, to me, is also what makes a player unique in those situations, too.
Yeah.
I like it. Good stuff. If you missed any of that, you can check it out wherever you download podcasts on the 104.5 The Zone Podcast Network. Search for Amon, Kayla, and Will. You can download it there. It's where you get Brent Hubbs as well. And then at 10 o'clock, Ron Slay, who is set to join us here.
He's coming
in just over 10 minutes. He's coming
here?
Yeah.
We got to get him a mower.
Nice.
We got to get him a mower.
That's the first thing you say.
He should just hop on the back of Will's mower, just he'd hit the roof. I mean, he'd go through the roof, literally.
Well, look, he's got room at 6'8". Yeah. He's got plenty of room here on this Ferris that Ramon's sitting on.
He just texted me. I was just like, all right, coming in, because I told Justin Jayhawk, man, that he was going to call in. So
there's no better teammate out there in any line of work than Ron Slay.
Hey, let's get him a weed eater.
Seriously,
a weed eater.
Or put this backpack
I need a haircut,
on.
So yeah, he could give me a close shave with one of these weed eaters.
That might work out.
Those blades are strong, Will.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll be fine.
You trust him?
I'm hard-headed.
You trust him?
I think all of our listeners know how hard-headed I am. I'll be all right.
But back to impressive, hearing Darrell Colbert speak about Cam and Shador both, man, and the competitive side of it too. I thought was insightful for as much information that he could give about what he knows. I was impressed by him. If I had a kid that was playing quarterback, I'd probably send him to him too.
So what kind of pre-draft visits and workouts did you do through your process in 2009?
I had none.
Yeah?
I had none. I didn't. But the guys I've heard do them at that position, one, as far as interior guys, they try to break you down.
Because I know it is different now because you've got some local visits where teams have the opportunity to bring in local prospects. The Titans will get a chance to see some of the TSU and MTSU and kind of guys like that. When did that start?
I think it was new CBA when guys missed so much and the amount of opportunity that was missing with guys.
Right.
So after 2011 is when that type of stuff started being amplified.
Because you would have been probably invited here to work out for a local pro day.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. So it was after my era when it came down to that type of stuff.
Gotcha.
And then too, having those visits is where we are right now. They want to see you operate in what they tell you to. Coach Mack has kind of explained that to us too. They're going to give you, Will, Kayla, the script. Hey, this is what we call in this play. And they're going to have a great time and have you answer all kind of other questions. And then they'll come back. Hey, you remember that first play we asked or told you about? What's your recall on those type of situations?
So that's the interesting thing for me is they've already had the top 30 visit. They've gone to his pro day. This, to me, for a private workout, is when you see how well someone can recall something that you want them to work on based on previous conversations, which is why I asked Darrell Colbert about that the last hour. Like, what are the Titans want Cam Ward working on, and is he working on it? Yeah. And like, hey, remember when your top 30 visit, we talked about this scheme. We put you on the whiteboard doing this. Let's see you do it. Here's a football. Let's go. So we'll see.
That's why I feel so confident in Cam Ward, though, in particularly that. Not only what Darrell Colbert said about that, but one of his offensive coaches told me when I reached out to him, like being able to retain the information is something that's a real positive for him. That was literally his quote to me in terms of that retaining information. And you're right. It comes in handy when you're then asked to recall of everything. So I'm confident in that in him.
And that matters. Like if you guys have ever sat around and talked to quarterbacks that are verbal with you, that want to give you information as far as what they know and how they go about their business, man, like that's a smart group of individuals. Like to hearing them speak about and break down the game and defenses and their own offense, like there's a lot that comes with it. So I know we talk about how much quarterbacks are babied and they're the special group and stuff like that, but you have to be. There's a lot that you have to take in to make sure that the other 10 guys on the field know what they're getting themselves into. Also because it starts and ends with you giving the ball or delivering the ball in some type of way, and you got to know what everybody's doing. So I was glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Easton Freeze of A to Z Sports putting out an hour ago, Titans leadership back down in Miami. So I misspoke, said it was here. Back down in Miami with Cam Ward today, the second time this week. Easton Freeze writes, this is more than just a visit with the expected top pick. They're doing a private workout, putting him through the paces. He'll throw for the coaching staff and front office for about an hour. So many times these private, quote-unquote, workouts end up just being whiteboard and meetings again. Not the case today for the Titans, who are reportedly, according to Multi reports, putting him through the ringer.
Right. And again, it won't be their script like it was in Miami. And you heard also Darrell Colbert saying a lot of that was for the wide receivers, right? They've seen a lot on Cam. A lot of what he did was for scouts to get looks at the receivers, but it won't be scripted for Cam in this situation. It's all going to be what the Titans want to see out of him.
And that's where, like you said, the pre-draft ain't about how much we can praise you and tell you how great you are. And it won't be in a disrespectful way, although it could be in a sense. But, like, they want to put him under the gun, I feel like, a little bit in these settings right there. Like, I feel like in this situation, he'll walk in and it's like, all right, you belong to us now, and see how he reacts.
Our friend Tyler Dunn always puts out the Bob McGinn scouting series after the Combine going into the NFL Draft. And this is a conversation we'll have on Monday when we have more time to do it. We don't have Slay next. But Ty Dunn, independent writer, we are a big fan of his. He's been on this show quite a bit, so we always want to give him credit where it's due, because independent media like that, I think, deserves our attention, because they're basically small business owners through all these things. But he does a good job. And Bob McGinn has two very different opinions on Cam Ward. I'll give you real quick. One scout on Cam Ward: Mahomes-like escapability. Similar to Mahomes athletically. Mahomes doesn't look like he's a great athlete, but he's always getting away from people and running. That's this guy. He's got that backyard style, but he's gotten so much better on time and precise with accuracy and quick decisions. Tennessee has to pick this guy. And then I'm laughing hearing he's going to go first. 2 years ago, he was throwing interceptions like nobody's business. Penix and Nix were no-brainers as starters. Cam Ward is a backup to me. He better fit the system or it's going to be a disaster. So
very different from what Colbert said.
Two different opinions from scouts who are in this process as well. So anyway, we'll get more to that Monday. Bob McGinn does a great work for Tyler Dunn every year, and really interesting insight from people boots on the ground anonymously scouting these guys. So check that out. We'll retweet it at Ramon Kayla Will, or actually did earlier this morning. So you can check that out there on our Twitter at Ramon Kayla Will. Coming up, Ron Slay. We'll preview Tennessee, Kentucky hoops next.
It's Ramon Foster for Secure Lawn. I'm getting ready to talk to you folks out there. You know who you are, man. You're the ones walking around your yard every day getting mad, upset when you see weeds in your yard, man, you obsessively care about your grass. Your spouses and friends tell you talk about your grass more than you talk about anything else. That's because you want to be the envy of your neighborhood. You want to be magazine ready when that first cut comes, man. Listen to me. Secure Lawn is the company you need to reach out to. They are a company that wants to provide you with prime service. And what that means is making sure that you have the best yard in the neighborhood. They're prompt, they're professional, they're also family owned and operated and are local. Been here for over 20 years. Listen, if you want to go ahead and get a head start on your lawn, go ahead and give the company I trust and also use a call at 615-893-8455 and go to securelawn.com.
RKW brewed by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone, broadcasting live this morning from Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply in Mount Juliet. A beautiful day to come check out these Ferris lawnmowers and check out Ferris Days at different Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply locations throughout Middle Tennessee. Unlock everything Ferris has to offer at Ferris Days only at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. We are awaiting the arrival of 3HL and SEC Networks, Ron Slay.
Ron Slay. I've been here talking to Trey about grass, man.
Absolutely.
You have.
Bermuda and everything.
You come to the
today.
right place to do that.
He told me quit fighting Bermuda, just embrace it. Like I'm too many cycles in overseeding a fescue to just submit like that. Like I'm not conceding, okay?
Nope.
I'm not conceding on this one, Trey. I'm gonna be real with you. Me and Bermuda got to fight, a lifetime fight together.
I love it. Let's go to the phones while we wait for Slay to arrive. Jason is in the borough. Hey, Jason.
Hey guys.
Hey,
What's
what
up, Jason?
I was just doing some research, and I'm sorry. There we go. I was doing some research about the last two games in Tennessee played Kentucky, and it's pretty clear. Like Tennessee is taking over most of the game, but it's the only thing that's really hurting them is their 3-point percentage and their percentage on their shots. So both times they only had a 3-point lead on both games, and Kentucky had an 11-point lead on both games. So I'm trying to figure out what would disrupt their 3-point game and their field goal percentage. That's all that Tennessee really needs to focus on.
No doubt.
Yep.
Given
you,
the
Jason.
time and practice, you would hope with the mind that Coach Barnes has, that they've worked on that, like getting around the screens to defend the 3-point, like it's gonna be huge for like not going underneath, like Chaz or I was about to say Duak Power not getting lost also on the screens. Like those are the things that have to happen. And I thought it was unique listening to Hubs too. Like if you don't have Zakai get in trouble, I think that disrupts a lot of stuff too, as far as a defense.
Ron Slay is on the phone.
What?
To the power of the telephone with us this morning to answer that question and any others that we have on Tennessee and Kentucky. Good morning, Slay.
What up, though? What's happening? What's happening? I'm cool, man. I didn't know y'all was way out there in Mount Juliet, man. I got a routine. That I keep on Fridays, and y'all broke the routine without letting me know when y'all was gonna be here. So
Oh man.
I couldn't make the right arrangements to pull up.
Well, we
over there, so.
we don't have room to put you in a lawnmower next to us anyway, so it's all good.
They said there was a weed eater.
I didn't need to be on the lawnmower. I can stand. I only got 20 minutes late.
Right?
I was standing. I'm fine.
You're taller than the mower anyway.
I was thinking you could have just hopped on the back of this lawnmower with me. We could have ghost ride the whip with you, Savage.
Old school bicycle.
Old school bicycle.
Bicycles, yep.
With the mag tires on there. Yeah, absolutely.
Come on now, that's all I'm saying. I would have stood over there by my dog, Ecky Bop. I know Bop in there. You know,
Bop's here.
He is. He's bopping around.
Present and accounted for.
Yeah.
That's right.
I know he's dropping some knowledge on y'all. Now, I'm going to be real before we get into it, man. Ecky Bop had some great things to say about his thoughts about the team, because I'm in a depression mode about the Tennessee Titans right now.
You are.
And Bop was trying to bring me out of it, and it didn't quite work for me. I think it's good, though, for the people. You know, so y'all ought to put Ecky Bop on, man. Let him share with the people.
Let him cook.
Ecky Bop, you're getting some love right now from Slay.
There you go.
Bob hopped up off that lawnmower real quick, threw his fist in the air.
He just threw a 1-5-10 yard split to get off that lawnmower to come over here, mosey on over.
What does Slay say? What's Slay say? What does Slay say?
Is that a good impression, Bob?
Wow. Wow.
He's blushing.
Terrific. Well, Slay, let's pull you out of your Titans depression and talk about the Tennessee men's basketball team, which takes on Kentucky tonight inside a football stadium in Indianapolis. Give me the reason, Slay, why Tennessee beats Kentucky tonight. Number one reason why.
I mean, when you look at the games, man, the games that Kentucky has won, I think, yes, they have shot the ball really, really well. I think it's been a lack of concentration for 40 minutes playing against a Mark Pope system. Man, the man is surgical when it comes to his the body movement and ball movement. Like, there is no sticking of the ball. The sets really decide where the ball is going to go as far as getting the shot.
And guys got to kind of be cerebral in this matchup and understand that this isn't like you're playing Alabama. It's a pick and roll. You defend it. Okay, great. Now keep the man in front of you, challenge the three. It's not that quite simple. It's a lot of cutting and the shuffle cuts off of the ball, away from the ball, to line up things that get guys easier buckets, along with Otega-Oweh being able to put pressure on the defense going downhill. So that person, whoever's guarding him, cannot let that man get angles. You have to keep him in front, make him shoot overhand, where you can leave all your help side to where it needs to be, at help side. And communication has to be key for 40 minutes. I think if you're able to do those things, it's kind of simple how you break it down, but if you can do that, then I think you got some good things that can happen with you. One thing for sure, when you're watching this game, I don't expect Noah or Perry to go 5 for 7 combined,
right?
Like they did in Rupp. I think that's some of the things that people are missing. You know, the critical times when Tennessee was getting stops and a big bucket was made by Jackson Robinson when they were playing at TBA. And then when you get to Rupp, Noah and Perry, the way they played, man, like they separated that game.
They did.
So, I mean, I don't expect that, but hey, who am I? I just know 3 times that's tough to do, man, especially with a team that should be motivated and locked in as Tennessee is.
Slay, when you look at the way Kentucky defends Tennessee when Tennessee has the ball, what about these guards and Lamont Butler specifically make them a bad matchup for Tennessee? Or is it just as simple as, look, the Tennessee's guards then are not Tennessee's guards now, and Jordan Gainey's playing a lot better. Chaz Lanier's not going to go 0 for 7. Zakai Ziegler is attacking the basket more, especially in the second half. Like, where do you fall on that? Are Kentucky's guards good at defending them, or was that just kind of maybe a different version of Tennessee, or maybe is it even a little bit of both?
No, I think that's what it was. I think Kentucky was doing a good job of trying to keep the guys in front of them and giving up a shot, and Tennessee went for it. I mean, they shot the shots, like 33 uncontested shots at TBA at the home game. Like, that was purpose. They did that on purpose. You know, they weren't getting those open looks for no reason. They chose who they wanted to shoot. They shot the ball. They missed. Kentucky did a great job of getting the rebound and pushing and making shots. So I think it's a lot of Tennessee needing to break them down. But like you said, this is a different set of guards now. The confidence level is different. Being able to go since those games and play the way they have against some elite teams, whether it be Auburn, whether it be Alabama, whether it be taking Florida in the SEC championship and playing them, like, you've got to see different looks and you learn more about yourself. So I don't think that Kentucky can keep them out of the lane. I heard Hubs talking about getting 2 feet in the lane and being able to pitch and catch. And these guys be able to hit them in their shooting pocket and knock down shots. I think it's different. It's totally different now. Zakai, to me, plays different. When he gets in the lane, he's no more thinking about just the lob. He sees the floater is there. You shoot the floater. And I think, man, one thing about it, Igor's had good games versus Kentucky.
He has.
So I think this is one of those set the tone for him, a coming out party in the NCAA tournament, because of the looks that he's going to get from the pick and pops, which they don't defend great, especially Lamar Williams. Like, this big fella is so skilled offensively. But, man, there's one thing about it. When you see those shoulders drop and he start walking with a slump, he can go into a rut, man, and they try to bail him out, you know. But I think apply pressure, and it's going to be difficult. I think they give the shots to Igor. Igor knocks him down, and if Darlingstone comes in and gets to play from 4, that pick and pop can be very dangerous for Kentucky.
Savage, when you look at this matchup, too, like we can speak about the offense, one has the defense, the other the schematics. If it's allowed to be played like Duke, Arizona was, which was physical and up-tempo at times, man, who wins that battle? Because I feel like you got 2 defensive trench monsters on the Vols, but Kentucky's doing something to kind of stymie the Vols basketball team a little bit, though, too.
Yeah, I think Tennessee wins that. If you look at both games, man, Tennessee's won the offensive boards. That's when you get second chances. When you look at the field goals attempts, Tennessee has gotten more. You just haven't made them. You just haven't taken care of the ball, for one, which Kentucky has done a terrific job of taking care of the ball, not only against Tennessee but in this tournament as well. Like you look at the matchup they played against Illinois. They made Illinois, I think, turn the ball over 14-plus times, and they didn't. They didn't even get close to double digits. I want to say they were 6 and below. So that's taking care of the ball. That's giving you more opportunities, being more efficient. Tennessee has to be able to turn them over, regardless if they are turning them over into transition points. Just take the attempts away from them and be efficient with yours. Looking at them playing in rough, like it was a physical matchup then. Tennessee just did some bonehead things down the stretch to not finish the game. So it's about them finishing it. I think the officials do let them play because, honestly, they've been doing that throughout the season. I mean, throughout the playoffs, the NCAA tournament. You look at them doing that in the NCAA tournament, and we thought that it was going to be a problem, but with it being no Cinderellas or anything, I think they feel like it's mano a mano, elite versus elite. No one needs an advantage, so you go out there and let the guys decide it. So I'm fine with them letting them go out there and go to war.
When you look at the leadership that has to be had tonight, man, who you pulling from the most? Like, is this a game where Chaz may be the one to have to step up, man, or this falls directly on Zakai for the most part?
Yeah, this falls directly on Zakai and Meshack. You're the only two guys that have been there for real. Gainey will come in and play his part, but we know the bulk of the minutes are going to Zakai and Jemiah and their impact on the game, regardless if it's offense or defense. The overall effort, vocal, physical, mental aspect of the game, it's all falling on their shoulders. I do think it's going to be a chess match between the coaching staffs to see which wrinkle can be thrown in and who can throw the punch first, who has the counter. But, man, no question about it. Like, you're not sitting around when you get to the Sweet 16 with a chance to go to the Elite Eight and thinking, man, I wonder who's going to step up. Nah, you know who it is. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is the responsibility that comes on your shoulders when you've been labeled an All-American. When you're up for National Defensive Player of the Year and there's 4 finalists and 2 of them on your team, this is the responsibility that's on your shoulder. It ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about what Felix Akbar needs to do. Amari Williams is their point forward, point center. Guard him like one. Have some ball pressure. Use that long wingspan. There's no need to sit back. I don't understand, like, what it would even be. Coach Barnes, what are you talking about? Will be my message in the order. What are you talking about? You think you got to say anything? You got to draw anything up? Man, we're going to go beat these boys, communicate, and watch what we do against this shuffle cut when they throw it in the mid-post, and we communicate, and we bump them on this. Otega Oway is the force behind this team. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Butler, he leads dogs. San Diego State had dogs. Kentucky, they don't have them same type of dogs. They got some, but they more like little terriers and, you know what I mean, English bulldogs and stuff like that. You know, Rottweilers and Pits and Dobermans. Yeah, these ain't the ones you running down the alley you got to run from. These are some dogs that's caged up. They got the little electronic fence thing on their clip collar. They ain't going to run out the yard. You know what I mean? They ain't like Zeus. They'll go down the street, get a buddy, bring the police, get the police to bring them back.
Yeah.
This is what we talking about. This is a whole different game right here. Man, this is a Sweet 16 to go to the Elite Eight, and whoever gets to the Elite Eight, come on, dog. Okay, I don't even think we even need to talk about that no more.
Well, yeah, not good because I was going to transition, but what I will say is there's some dogs obviously still left in this tournament in the SEC. And look, my Final Four is all SEC teams. I might have sounded weird saying it before. Now I'm looking at it and I'm saying this could be a possibility. But let's talk about some of those games last night. Alabama and Florida advancing to the Elite Eight. Who impressed you most, Slay, with those first Sweet 16 games yesterday?
Man, before we even get into that, KK, this is for all the people that are in the chat, that listen to us every day, that tune in the SEC Network. I told y'all.
That's for you, John.
You did.
I told y'all.
That's for you, Lonzo.
And over again. I don't know what's going to happen next year. I don't know. I ain't got a clue what's going to happen next year. But this year, I live by believe what your eyes are showing you.
Yep.
This is an elite conference when it comes to basketball this year, dog. Like, It wasn't no thought in my mind. Paul Slay hit last night. Just want to throw that out there. Wasn't no thought in my mind was Alabama gonna run them boys up out of the gym, dog. It's no question. They've been there. Experience is the best teacher. They know what it takes. Mark Sears, forget percentages. There ain't no need in worrying about percentages. Grant Nelson, don't look at the stats. Watch what he does impactful in the game. And then when you look at Auburn, Arkansas was supposed to win. You know what I mean? Texas Tech, they just went and started saying, man, we're not making no threes. We're going to go inside. Arkansas, stop moving the ball. Wanted to play one-on-one. Jonell Davis, the last 2 minutes and the overtime, crushed Arkansas. Defensively and offensively. They should have put Billy Richmond back in the game. They would have won that game. And they should have gave Adu the ball. You rolled them all the way to this point, and then you stopped giving them the ball. But Ole Miss and Michigan State, to your point, Kayla, that's the one. That's the only one that I got as a toss-up. Yep. I'm not sure when you talk about experience, Izzo's been there, Chris Beard's been there. Not sure any guys on Ole Miss team has been there before and been able to be prepped for it. So I'm all for Ole Miss winning, but that's the only one that I see is going to be a little trouble.
I'm with you too, Slay, on that one.
I love it. He is Ron Slay. You get more of this interaction and analysis today on 3HL. Slay, you've got me pumped up, ready to go through a big wall. I'm sleep deprived after watching those games last night. No, I'm good now. I'm rolling. I'm ready to beat some Wildcats tonight, Slay. Thank you for getting us prepared.
Yeah, no question. Don't think about it. They had to come out and start artificial intelligence, AI photos, and start doing all kind of weird stuff. Like that's somebody blacked up in the corner in a little cardboard box that can't get out. You know what I mean? They don't know what all you got to do is bust through the cardboard box. They so nervous, they don't know what to do. The kind them on the way. I'm telling you right now, Kentucky, we on the way. Bring all your little blue friends. Bring all your little blue friends up there.
I love it.
So we're bringing a whole bunch of awards, baby.
We are going to get a special version of Ron Slay throughout the rest of the day and weekend.
Looking forward to it.
104.5 The Zone. Thank you, Slay. Appreciate you. Happy Friday.
No doubt, baby.
Peace.
There is Ron Slay. Man, he had me ready to go.
He's ready.
We usually get a little bit of energy levels drop a little bit sometimes, behind the mic.
Final hour, yeah.
No, I'm good. Let's freaking go. Let's throw the ball up right now. The ball is
fire up the
Let's
lawnmower. That's what we should do.
Well, I got a key over here. Listen.
I know you've been tempted to turn that ball.
Chill. Too many wires around.
Leave the key in here is what I'm telling y'all.
Coming up, we will wrap up the show. Which upset is most likely tonight in the NCAA tournament? That's next. RKW brewed by Scooters Coffee. Wrapping up the show. Download the Scooters Coffee mobile app. Get $2 off your first mobile order. Go get some Scooter Doodle today in your life. That's a good way to celebrate Friday.
Yes.
That's what we had this morning.
That's the one of the day. They have flavors of the day.
That's right. They do. Appreciate Trey Hartsook and Dickens Store for Landscape Supply having us out here. Hey, if you are you consider yourself a pro with your lawn, that's the place to come get the equipment, get the advice, get all the stuff you need. Or if you just don't even know what in the world you're doing, you walk in here, these folks, they're nice, they're courteous, they're knowledgeable. They will get you hooked up. Locations all around Middle Tennessee, Mount Juliet, this store right here, just right off the interstate, right off I-40, North Mount Juliet Road here at Dickens Store for Landscape Supply. Great people, and I appreciate them having us today.
No doubt.
It's been fun.
Someone just walked out with a backpack sprayer just now, man.
There you go.
Get them weeds
It's been
killed.
busy this morning.
Yeah.
We've had like a
In and
steady
out,
flow of
for
people.
sure.
And Mayor Ron came and saw
Mayor
us.
Ron
Yeah, shout out Mayor Ron.
Yeah.
We finally put a face with the
That was
voice.
awesome.
We did.
With the poet himself.
No
Exactly.
doubt. What was I about to say? The ground up that I get, the commercial one. By the way, y'all are cheating yourselves if you're not coming out here to get this ground up. You hear me?
That's right.
The
Good
weed
stuff.
killer
Good
is elite. I sprayed it the other day.
There you go. Tonight in the NCAA tournament, does Tennessee get the job done?
I say yes, and a quick yes. The focus, the trash talking is even. What did you say if the Tennessee said that? Well, Zakai stuck up his middle finger, and I'm okay with it. I told you, it's a matter of what you do in the game. Us fans that love and hate what each team do, we ain't playing. I'm just here for the trash talking. That's all I got, Will.
Yeah. I mean, I would say a yes to on that. I've said how many times it's so hard to beat a team 3 times. It really is. And I think that you've got those 2 seniors in Jemai Meshack and Zakai Ziegler. They know what they've got to do.
A lot,
and guard play, it's been much better for the Vols in the tournament so far. I think it's Tennessee in this one, guys.
I think it's Vols. I think it's close. I think years will be taken off a lot of people's lives in both Pantone 151C and in blue. I don't think Kentucky is getting the same guards that they got in the first 2 matchups. And to be fair, like Kentucky deserves credit for making Chaz Lanier and Zakai Ziegler and Jordan Gainey worse because they've got guards that can defend what Tennessee does. But I just think those guys are different players than they were early in the season. And you could bet against it if you want. I mean, there's plenty of apps out there. I'm not betting on Chaz Lanier going 0 for 7 from 3 again like he did the last time he played Kentucky. Like, if he just hits 2 of those, Tennessee has a 7 or 8 point lead with 2 or 3 minutes left and, parks the bus, as we say in soccer, probably gets the job done and rub. So I would be very surprised the way Chaz Lanier has played down the stretch to see him have a shooting performance like that. And I'd be surprised if Zakai Ziegler has a shooting performance like that because he has been closer to his career average as a 3-point shooter over these last couple of games. And not even games, just last month of the season. So he was in a shooting slump both times Tennessee played Kentucky. He isn't at this point. And I like Tennessee by 6. I think it's close. I think Tennessee by 6. Something like, I don't know, 76-70 Vols tonight.
I see that happening with free throws in the end. And also, to the adjustments I've seen since March Madness has tipped off, has been, I felt like Chaz was looking for the perfect shot. Sure. Like, sometimes shooters just have to get the ball up in the air. And, coming off those screens where he had to, get open, it's now just catch and go. It's like his release is, I feel like, quicker now than it was definitely during the regular season and even more so in the SEC tournament, too.
If you are around Middle Tennessee tomorrow night, you should go to Geodis Park. Nashville SC and FC Cincinnati tomorrow night, 7:30 kickoff, 7 o'clock pregame coverage with myself and Lucas Panzica on the 104.5 The Zone app. Nice. Nashville, 3 wins in a row for the first time in 2 seasons. Nashville, best 5-game start in club history. Most goals they've ever scored through 5 games in club history. 7 different goal scorers of their 8 goals. That's a record in club history through 5 games against an injured FC Cincinnati team that is reeling a little bit early in the season. Very talented, very good. They're banged up. It's a rivalry game. It's going to be very fun. I'm telling you guys, Nashville SC is fun. They are good. They are entertaining. And you're going to enjoy getting to watch this team this year. So come introduce yourself to Nashville SC.
Yes.
This Saturday night. Vols don't play till Sunday after they beat Kentucky tonight, so you won't need to take your phone and watch Tennessee. You're going to wait pregame the Elite 8 starting Saturday night tomorrow at Geodis Park.
Well, I was going to say, Do that on don't jinx it.
Don't exist.
Don't do that on Saturday, and you can bring your phone with you to the Sounds opener tonight. The Nashville Sounds are back at First Horizon Park, and those games are so fun. Like
fun.
You don't even have to like baseball to be at those games. They've got fireworks tonight, so excited. The Sounds are back as well.
Good stuff.
That is good stuff. I got to make me a Sounds game, which we usually do when we get a little dead period time.
They'll have the game on in the bandbox.
Yeah.
Just go out of the bandbox and watch basketball and have some frozen whiskey Cokes.
Ooh, those are so good. And the orange sickle ones, too. Ooh, yum.
Very good. Braves will have to settle for 161-1.
I know. I watched yesterday.
Hector Neris in the 7th is going to have to be
better.
No.
Yeah, that did not work.
Not going to happen.
Not great.
Let the Padres come back.
I cannot wait for 161 more games to just dictate my mental well-being.
That's what
for the
Travis
next 7
said.
months. 161-1. We'll settle for it.
Yep.
That'll be all right. Tennessee baseball, South Carolina tonight.
Vandy has Arkansas this weekend.
Arkansas.
Yeah, I saw Tom Hart's on the call for that one.
Yeah.
Friend of the station.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
One of my favorite play-by-play broadcasters out there. And I say that halfway hoping he's listening, but he's probably not.
Oh, look at we have.
He knows I love him.
Darrell tweeting out is this from Pro Day maybe? I was looking at Cam Ward's having his
anything Cam Ward.
private
Kayla's
workout.
like the dog and Up with the squirrel. Like, Cam Ward.
I am. Keeping y'all updated. He might be your pick.
Oh, he will be. Yeah, he's quarterback. So Cam Ward down in Miami. So he could not have been listening to us yesterday when we were sending messages to him.
No.
Here in the station. Titans went to him. He did not come to the Titans. So we'll see what comes out of that on Monday, and we'll dive into the Bob McGinn stuff because it's interesting on Cam Ward as well. Enjoy the hoops this weekend.
Should be good.
Going to be fun. Tennessee and Kentucky tonight, of course, courtesy of the Vol Network. You'll be able to hear it right here on the Zone. And Westwood One after that with the entire tournament. Those broadcasters are so good. Oh, my gosh. I was talking to Lucas about it the other day. We were nerding out over some of the play-by-play guys. Scott Graham and Ryan Radke last night crushing it. So stay tuned to that, and we will be back to you on Monday.
Yes, indeed. Good people, you know how it is, man. Hey, just enjoy the game. Watch it. Do not stress out. Call somebody and talk to. Don't be nice to Kentucky fans today. Kentucky fans, but all costs, man. Make it back to us on Monday. But your Twitter fingers and your mic always hot.